he's been really impressive, that.
Well, tell us about that. I mean, last week you ran the ball out of defensive 50 really well by hand. Do you keep going with that amount of handballs, or do you change things today?
Oh, I think last week what we did is we got back to support as much as we possibly could. We killed the area with a lot of our spoils, which brought the support numbers into play. And, that's one thing we need to make sure that we do. We need to help. They've got a dangerous forward line. We need to get back and support that. And there's the decisions to use the numbers or to try and get it out of your back half in a more controlled manner. So they're really good at time in front half, so we need to make sure we execute well.
And like you were good last week with your defence, they're usually very good down back, and they seem to generate a spare down back. What do you do to counteract that?
Yeah, so it's where they obviously blitz halves rucks and drop Stanley back. Holmes will sit out behind the ball. Yeah, they do that really well. So we'll make a decision between, do we equalise that as quickly as we possibly can, or do we actually play with an extra around the ball or at the top of our back line? So there's some of the decisions we'll look at, and the state of game will determine that. Yeah,
and last week, again, one of your better games, but there are areas for improvement around that clearance situation and time in forward half for the opposition?
Yeah, well, 9-20 out of the middle sort of built the pressure their forward half game to Brisbane. We can't allow that against Geelong. Generally, we've been pretty good at clearances this year, so we need to make sure we can turn that back around and still play with a bit of flair as well.
No worries. Well, thanks for your time and all the best today.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate.
Fantastic to have Dean Cox so close to the bounce. So our Smith's Sunday preview for Smith's Crisps. And Jared, you wanted to talk about Isaac Heaney, his favourite position on the ground.
Indeed, Dwayne. I want to talk about the house of Heaney. He builds himself a little three-better here in the forward pocket of the Swans. It's always the same. He just drifts into this spot, and the Swans have continuously isolated him, and no one wants to knock on his door, Jono. It's amazing how often he's just sitting in the house of Heaney. There he is. He's all on his own. I mean, he is one of the great players of the competition. No one goes near him.
That's it. He's just in his walking robe, Jared, and he just nails them on the left every single time. He's a beautiful snap. He's one of the best snaps in the competition, left and right. And certainly the stats back that up. But why wouldn't you go to this man inside forward 50 when he's got that space? It doesn't matter what part of the ground it is. And he's actually probably more comfortable when it is out wide.
Yeah, well, they back him in. He just floats there, and they kick it on top of his head. And you can have a look at the accuracy on the non-preferred. To be able to do that, you have got to be awesome. He has a lot of shots from that position, so others whose averages are slightly higher may not have as many shots, but he nails so many goals from that position. He's a master at it.
So perfect conditions, as you can see, bright sunshine. Patrick Dangerfield back for the Cats, game 356. Had a few soft tissue issues this year, mainly hamstring tightness. Rested last week, but now 20th all-time for AFL, VFL games played. And the toss, Callum Mills wins the toss and will kick to the right of the screen. He's in game 173 as well. They've got plenty of leadership out there for the Sydney Swans with a couple of their guns back. But the Cats are almost at full strength right now, which is a good news story for Geelong fans.
It certainly is. And this game today is going to be fantastic for this point right here. From round 13 to round 22, both teams have won 7, lost 2 games. The rise of the Swans has been sensational in this period. They've got their good players back into the lineup. Klim on screen there. He tossed the coin this afternoon. Fantastic to see Michael in the middle of the MCG. But this is why this game today will be so fascinating, because Sydney, the disruptors so far in the run home to finals 2025, and this is why it's so important as well, especially for Geelong, where they sit battling for top 2.
It's incredible. The next 2 weeks, as Dwayne will explain, I'm sure, are so important. I mean, they can get a top 2 spot if it all works their way, or they can fall right to the bottom of the 8.
Absolutely, and it is a lifeblood round as well, with the Olympic gold medalist Michael Klim out there as part of our pre-game to celebrate the Cats. Next week with Richmond at the MCG, and Sydney will finish off with the West Coast Eagles at Optus Stadium. Blakey's also been in great form. 20 possessions last week, 674 metres gained last week, so the Lizard was on the run.
He was slithering everywhere last week, and they're here, the Lizard masks.
There's a few around, which is great to see as well. And he's been a star. He's run and drive off the back half. We understand he's just brilliant at what helped. It sets Sydney up in a big way. Bailey Smith looking for a big game today, and Mullen has gone to Errol Goulden.
Beautiful day for football. 10th v3. Laddams and Stanley, the Lockhorns to kick us off at the SCG. Stanley flies early, wins the first tap, gets a second crack at it. Dangerfield went without it. Hurried kick inside 50. It's a bouncing ball. Swans under a bit of pressure early. Blitzars, and then the hurried snap is just going to miss from Stengel.
I like the jump from Stanley. He got it going, and then there was a really smart little tap on from Danger to set up the shot at goal.
There goes the lizard to Heaney. Go to your hot guy. Not a bad idea. Rampy feeds it wide. Hayward's back into the lineup this week. A little bit of a calf issue last week to Gordon, and they're a different team with Gordon in it. Papley, likewise, this is his 10th game of the season. Good to have him playing some consistent footy. Goes with a spear pass to the pocket to McLean.
Strong lead by McLean. It'll actually be interesting with Mullen this afternoon because a couple of jobs he's had to be more an inside sort of midfielder. It doesn't break as much as what someone like Errol Goulden can do and work towards the contest. So a big challenge for Mullen to restrict his influence today on the outside.
All eyes on Jeremy Cameron hunting down goal 100 for the season, but Hayden McLean's hunting down goal 100 for his career. Kick, and that's goal 97 for Hayden.
Well, the McLeans were smiling after that kick, Jono. They were absolutely pearly white right off the middle of the boot. And just good transition from Sydney. If that goes unrestricted, then the Swans are going to make life very difficult for Geelong. He got away to a good start out of the centre, but gee, it was just like training drill stuff from one end of the ground to the other. And you can see McLean here. He's all free.
Poor handover by the Cats. O'Sullivan was just pointing. Didn't get the attention of his teammate to be able to lock in that space. McLean pops into it nicely.
Hayden McLean, who kicked a goal in 18 games last year. He's kicked 22 from 18 this year. So he's virtually repeated the dose. Back in the middle.
Big chance for Laddams here to just, make a mark on the competition. No Grundy, he gets first crack.
Stanley stayed on terra firma that time. Scrubbed a kick forward to Dangerfield. Was hoping for Smith, but cut off by Warner. Warner, a bit of dancing around Dempsey. Loose pill back in the middle of the ground. Out it comes. And now the Swans, that quick handball work. Dropping the football. Florent, though, and the Cats pounce. Mullen can't quite pick it up. Laddams tried to get it off the ground. Scrappy stuff. Golden goes in and a stoppage.
That's what Mullen wanted. He wanted Gordon to pick it up so he could tackle him. He's getting the big tagging jobs this year. Ian Mullen. There is Laddams. Secondary kick. Hacks it to Henry. Heads out wide. Bounce kindly from Carlton, but he's going in the wrong direction. He had Melican riding shotgun for him. He's in game 100. Is Melican this afternoon, so a nice milestone for him. Hard tackle laid on the tackle machine. Tom Atkins.
And Lynchy, it looks like Mark O'Connor's going to run with Isaac Heaney. He can go in the middle and into defence with him.
Laddams won it down that time. Just a bit errant for Wicks. Stanley off the ground. Tumbling ball. Then Manners kick deflecting off the body of Cameron. So still scrappy stuff. Golden's handball. Smith tries to manufacture something. Cameron in the congestion. Atkins. Tumbly kick towards left half forward. Now grabbed by Blakey, whose kick's aggressive across the face. Gives Geelong a little bit of a look at it here. It fell to Campbell, and then he pummels the handball over the top, and they might be out. Jordan, quick kick towards the pocket. Heaney.
Well, this is his holiday house pocket, Jared. The right foot snap. But that transition again by Sydney. You spoke about release by hands. The release handball to Jordan was fantastic, which sets up this passage to Isaac Heaney. Beautiful kick.
If he misses, he generally misses skinny. But he's such a master at these round the corners, you generally back him in.
5 goals last week and starts well this week with the second goal for the Swans.
Really good ball movement from the Sydney Swans. A couple of their guns involved. You saw 3 of them sitting on the bench just there. They've got a good running team in at the present time, and here they go off the back. And it's just a nice little tap on, a nice release, and then the really long handball. Poor work there by Holmes. He should have not acknowledged that. Looks like struggling to get the skates on, but the kick to Heaney was spot on. You can see they're isolating him. It's a great shot. I mean, O'Connor is one out against one of the masters. He can get it in the air, he can get it on the deck. And it was just good body work. Great kick.
So no need to tell Cat fans this, but Cats will jump to second on the ladder with a win today, but they are in danger of dropping all the way to 7th by the end of the home and away season if they lose this and next week. McLean, great mark. This is the perfect start for the Swans, and this is looking dangerous for Geelong already.
Spot on. It's great to see McLean going with his hands. He's early in the season, he looked like down on confidence, and he was going for chest marks. It's a great hit to advantage and a brilliant kick. That's when he's at his best, John. I remember him playing a magnificent game in a final against Carlton at centre-half forward. His best. He hasn't been at that level for a period, but he has got the capacity to lift. And he generally misses right when he does miss, so it's something for him to work on over the summer period. Time for the Cats to fight back now. They're the ones with everything at stake.
So Humphreys looks out for Stanley. Had Florent bearing down on him, took it strongly to Smith. Probing ball down the line. Neil. He's kicked 10 goals in his last 3 games, Neil. Up the ground here. His searching kick towards the pockets. In the end, Mills with the grab. Inside defensive 50, and he's happy to play on quickly and across the face.
It's one-on-one on the wing, but the one in front took a good, strong mark. Jack Buller, who's giving them something. Campbell also has been in good form, but fumbles up there. That's in the backish on Mills, no free.
Lee Fisher hit the deck, unfortunately. The ump, so he got up and wasn't able to see that. Just connection in the background with Brad Close.
Yeah, Campbell just fumbled, though, under the heat.
And Jordan didn't there. Lloyd goes inside for the 1-2 with Sheldrick. That was nice. And now Melican in his milestone game. Rampy to the Lizard, who's off and running in game 150. To Campbell, who can kick a long ball, launches and goes all the way home.
Get the Lizard marks on. That was unbelievable. What a start to the game he has had.
Well, Blakey's been knocked over.
Has he?
Still down on the wing. So that's why this bit of a fracas has blown out. See Blakey in the background there. He got cleaned up once he got rid of the ball.
Yeah, it's good eyes, Lidgy. We're more focused on where the ball ended up. It's good pick up here with Blakey running right through the middle of the ground. So he clearly... Oh, he gets the bump from O'Sullivan. Just blocked his run on the handball.
Yeah, it didn't look too nasty, did it?
No, it may have taken the wind out of him, though.
Yeah, if we got him high, though, it's an issue.
Yeah.
And that's the head-to-head.
Yeah, I think it's more winded. I reckon he would be there. And Lee, you're right, Dwayne, unless there is head-to-head.
There's a great goal in the finish, though, by Campbell. And once again, the Swans coming off that half-back line. All 3 goals, defensive half chains. They are... they've got a spell for it at the present time. Coxie's taken the handbrake off to a large degree, and they're moving the ball the best they have all season by a long way.
Have a close eye on Nick Blakey as he heads to the bench. Of course, he's the first Swans player to be contracted until the 2030s. Plenty of that stuff still to come. Heaney from a standing start will bring rain. High ball inside 50. Taken by O'Sullivan, real rising star prospect, and of course took one of the marks of the round last week. Smith tight ropes the boundary, close to the line, no mark, hurried kick, inside 50, the front spot Rampy, coming out to meet it, Cameron needs an option, cut off, and it's Goulden with the hurried one.
You can argue there's no more important player individually for their side than Errol Goulden, the way the Swans have played since he's been back into the team. 29 possessions last week, again, the most for the Swans in that win over the Lions, the reigning premiers at the Gabba last week. Angus Sheldrick trying to find his way in game 28. He had a 26 possession, 1-goal game against the Lions last week. 7 inside 50s and 11 score involvement, so it's nice to see him growing as a player. Rampy just hesitated took the fake step, and Laddams, he's the man. No, Brodie Grundy. They've brought in Pete Laddams, and here's a chance to make a statement of his own this afternoon.
Yeah, he's come along well under the new coach. He had a bit of a shocker a couple of years ago, and he was sent back to the reserves to basically ask himself the question, do you want to play AFL football or do you want to just muck around and waste your time? And he's really buckled down, Jono, and he's coming with a bit of a rush. Unfortunately for him, though, he's run into Brodie Grundy, who's been in incredible form.
He's got the big moustache and the long hair. He used to have the dreadlocks as a teenager back in the draft days.
Got some work to do on his kick.
He has. But no wonder Grundy and Laddams have come along when you've got one of the best ruckmen of all time as your coach. You'd expect that he'd be able to teach and educate along the way.
So Guthrie's kick just a little bit too hot for Holmes, who runs onto it. Arguably kicked one of the goals of the season against the Dogs very early on in the season. Cameron gets the 1-2. Holmes loves a run, but cut off. Florent.
Interesting, this bloke. I mean, there'd be plenty of people think the Swans have got him back on the side just to fatten him up for trade. I just think he's too good a player. He's lost his way a bit, but he's too good a player, I think, to let go from this team.
Frill next are getting excited that the Lizards about to come back on. Papley weaves his way past a couple, bends the banana goal square, and getting back to Koning.
Yeah, well read by De Koning.
Little chip wide. He set that on Myers' head. Wicks pounced. Hayward couldn't trap it. Manor, Wicks, Hayward, couple of dance steps, back to Papley. Little stand-start bomb towards the goal square. Cats have got the numbers, and De Koning will start it all again.
Yeah, not a great kick inside forward 50. Excellent defence again from De Koning.
So Stewart pummels the kick outside defensive 50. No mark from Dempsey at the front. Jordan tries to wrest the ball away. Manor, little kick in the kneel direction, pressured by Malikan, who celebrates his 100th. Lewis Malikan, the boy from Birregurra near Colac, debuted against GWS in 2017. Match 100 today.
Birregurra as well. They're hidden behind me at the bar.
Plenty of good food at Birregurra. And drink.
So that tackle. Eventually it came out from Atkins. Kick inside 50 for the Cats. Close in a foot race here. He gets to the football first, but the line beats him ahead of Cunningham.
Good little town just outside of Geelong, Birregurra. Lewis was essentially picked 122 in the draft in 2015. 70 players picked in the main draft. Melican was picked 52 in the rookie draft that year. So
that's a good pick.
Doing pretty well for a pick 122. Laddams doing pretty well. Made Mills give it back to him, which you love. Florent just hit the pause button. Back to Pistol Pete, who pulls the trigger and couldn't quite hit his target. Stewart on the way past Jordan. Great tackler, hard to get through his tackles. Florent back toward the wing, and Sullivan saves the day. Yeah, could well win the Rising Star the way he's going. He's got a few like Levi Ashcroft maybe ahead of him in the reckoning for some, but he's had a great year.
Kicks to Guthrie, who then challenges Blitzarves in the middle, and it's been coughed up here. Dodging and weaving was Detoli, got the handball away, the youngster. Ball still in dispute, and it's Rowbottom now. Spreading it wide. Chance for Lloyds. Kick towards the pocket, and Heaney, it's in the house, it's in the lounge room.
The house of Heaney.
Thank you. That's a lot.
Well, we've seen, thanks to the analysis of Jared Healy, how he loves this situation. And watch this. It's
Jeez, you put the
a little bit of commentary curse.
I've never seen Jared Healy just focused in on wanting that goal to go through, but spot on with the analysis, Jared, in regards to the way Sydney like to move the ball forward to Isaac Heaney in that pocket.
So Jack Martin there.
On the ground.
Thanks for that. Lynchy, that's great news. Blakey back out, Jack Martin back in for the team after being rested last week. Jack Martin might be the fairy tale story of the year, delisted by Carlton, and maybe go to Geelong and be a contender to be part of premiership, perhaps. You've got to win this game, though, the Cats. They'll be second on the ladder tonight if they win it. But again, they're spot in the top 4, vulnerable if they lose it.
Good early buffer for the Swans, 20 points.
It's a nice start, but what we haven't seen is anything that's looked like Geelong so far. They just look a little bit flat. They've got to kickstart themselves.
Smith wins the football to Guthrie, a raking ball. It's a wide ball, met hard by Malikan, inboard. Cunningham, Golden. Here's this handball work again. Campbell, Malikan blazing along the wing. Spearing pass is a good one, but it was dropped by Haywood. He'll be ruining that, and it comes back out to Smith, who runs into the middle of the SCG and finds Martin, rested last week, and then short he goes to Mullen. So Mullen, another little pitching wedge up to Humphreys, gets a little bit of contact late, and as they probe the forward line, they'll eventually get a shot at goal through Manor.
Yeah, very much a focus on Jeremy Cameron. Swans defenders are all reasonably deep, looking for him and for Dangerfield. But this 45-metre out launch pad is where they came up with a couple of spare spaces. And this bloke has been in really good form.
Thank you.
Put together a terrific month. Real danger.
Second season in the hoops from 52 metres out. He's given it some. Swans think they've touched it. We're heading for a review.
I believe it's behind. Just like to check that the ball was touched by the defender.
Score review. Umpire's call is one behind. Please confirm it was touched.
It's literally a fingertip, isn't it? From Hayden McLean, who's already kicked a goal at the other end. He may have saved one.
Didn't centre it, but he got enough on
Looking
it.
at this angle, we see the ball's touched by the right hand of the Sydney defender before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Calling it the right hand's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that's right.
The top of the ring finger, just. From that dodger bullet there, Mills with the kick in. That's a dangerous but perfectly positioned kick to Angus Sheldrick. Wide ball. Florent mops up that little mess and does well. What Rowbottom wants to do here. Been getting plenty of it himself this season. 6th in the AFL for tackles this year. Normally up there 1 or 2, but more a possession machine for the Swans this season. Good collect on the run. Florent, the dance step was nice. Second give okay. Detoli, and turns it over. He's never kicked an AFL goal, Jesse. He's kicked a few behind, so maybe a little gun shy.
They're just going pretty short and wide at the present time, the Cats. Going pretty fast, but really short.
Myers, short to Guthrie, out to Smith. Called to play on. The Stetson staggers momentarily, then to Guthrie. So keeping's off here at half-back at the moment, Myers.
Real difference between how they normally play and no handball. And I think handball's going to separate the sides at the top between now and the end of the season.
It has at the start of this game in particular.
Yep.
So Jack Henry to Humphreys, who can wheel onto the left boot, and the kick's a beauty to Neil. He has kicked 4 goals, 3 goals and 3 goals in his last 3 matches, Shannon Neal. And they need one through the big sticks early here.
So you got Shannon Neal at one end and you got O'Sullivan at the other. Just a couple of magnets that every coach would just love to have as young blokes looking after the future.
The breakout 2024. He comes in with a straight kick. Has it got the distance? You bet it has. That's a spark that'll lift them early. Magnificent drop punch, Shannon Neal. That was beautiful to watch.
Well, Hilly, you mentioned his last 3 weeks of footy. It has been fantastic. Competitive in the air, His leading patterns have got a lot better as well, and then he's hitting the scoreboard nicely. So you can just see through these highlights what he's been able to do over the 3-week period. 4 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals. Consistency is becoming really important for the Cats down in that end of the ground, and himself and Jeremy Cameron have become a nice combination.
And there's the kick. Beautiful kick. He's both sides of the body. Another great pickup by the Cats. Was in the West Coast NGA. Didn't get a Guernsey there. Down at Geelong, he has killed them. What a unit this big bloke is. I mean, fantastic. They're about getting excited about that one.
He's one of the 8 that have played every game this year for the Cats. Long launch inside 50, and Martin's attack was nice. He waited for the bounce essentially and hit it at full steam. Stanley, wrap-up tackle on Errol. And Isaac has a little rest. And Jesse has a little phone call.
A hurried kick in the Hayward direction from Laddams.
There's that tag, Jono.
Yep. Free kick for a hold on Mullen. Plays on. Martin out to Smith. Has the boundary line to beat. Scooped it in though. So wheels and goes. Onto the right, towards the pocket. Close waits at the back. Quick hands Rampy with a standing start. Wicks, bit of a kick and hope in the end. And Smith's there to gather. It's a loose peel inside forward 50. Picked up by Close. Over the top he goes. Stengel. Then he runs straight into a brick wall. Uses Humphreys. Snap round the corner. And misses.
Another mature age pick from WA. Lawson Humphreys. Pick 63, 2023. An amazing draft history the Cats have got. Plucking guys from around the country out of nowhere, really. Quite a few of them as mature age players. Blakey back on and back into hitting chests. Chad Warner hit him right on the V. Oh, smothered. Got a little close. Neil Atkins. It opens up for him. Here's floats it over the top. Welcome back, Jack.
Well, Dean Cox going to the video as well. Yeah, I think it was Dane Rampy. Just gets in the way, and then it just affects the kick of Warner and allows the Cats to close up and smother. Rampy looking for the handball receive. Well done by Close to come forward and smother.
It's a great smother, wasn't it?
Awesome. So good.
This bloke, Jono, he just could be an amazing wild card come finals time.
Always has been a good player.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's had injuries, hurt him early at the Gold Coast.
He's a bigger unit than you think.
It's spot on. Spot on. And the Blues played some nice footy there, but he knows how to find the TW. Don't worry about that. And find space as well.
Here we go.
So they're finding their mojo, the Cats. It's back to 6 points. Stanley flew early. Warner picked up by Jordan off the hands of Sheldrick, who had to forage after it. Blitzarves looking for O'Sullivan. Scrappy play in the middle. Dangerfield, can he extract it? Eventually to Smith, but then he coughed it up to Lloyd. Standing start. Centre half forward McLean pressured off it. Hard football to win at the moment. Papley wanted a free kick, didn't get one. Smith scoops out wide.
Yeah,
here they come.
You can't spend too much time appealing for free kicks when the ball's still in your vicinity.
Blitzarves with the smother from Rampy and out.
Another great smother from the old fellow.
You reckon they get told about it during the week, the umpires, about guys who appeal for them more than others?
It was there, though.
I don't know.
Yeah, but they tend to not pay the 60-40s if you put too much mayo on. I know that's not in the rule book, the mayo rule, but it seems to be in vogue. Here goes Jezza. 79 goals for the season. He might set one up here. He floats it over the top. Shannon couldn't mark it, and McCartan could have rushed it. He was under enough pressure, just tapped that through. That was bizarre.
It was one that Shannon should have taken, really.
And they got cooked. Brian Myers with that unique and brilliant style. Superb.
It's a bad blue by Sydney and an amazing goal by Brian Myers, who's having a fantastic season, could well be in the All-Australian squad at some stage. Announced in a couple of weeks' time.
So no one on the mark.
No one's on the mark.
Campbell had actually he was trying to sprint to get there, so it wouldn't be deliberate. You can see him here, and he actually goes, once it goes out, he goes well past it, and it gets back to Brian Myers well and quickly, and he takes the advantage. Well played. Super finish.
So it's a really good response this by Geelong. It was never going to be all one way, but this is a really top line, top four response by a side that's been so consistent most of the year.
Brian Myers, if you see a chance, take it. That was a fantastic finish. Back in the middle. Smith standing over the football. He's raked out by Heaney. Overrun. Guthrie fights for it. Heaney throws the boot in there. Eventually Mullen running through. Warner couldn't drag him down. And then that kick falls into the lap of Blakey and then keeps it moving. So here they come, the Swans. Mills handball out wider. Kick in towards 50. No mark taken. In the end, it was Atkins who was fighting for the football.
Not his best kick that time, Errol Goulden. He had a lot of it last week. They only rated about a 7, and the ratings really knock you around if you don't hit targets.
And Cameron back into the middle.
They had 29 possessions, no clearances, so that shows how many he gets as an outside influencer. 29 possessions, no clearances. They know to shut him down if they want to, but it's the hard part.
Oh, look at that.
Dangerfield is off and running. Landed like a cat. Heads long, the old cat, and goes to Neil.
That's a brilliant mark.
That is both. Dangerfield's move was unbelievable. To hit the ground the way that he did, and then just go.
This is why it was surprising he dropped the last
bang.
one. Bang, yeah. Amazing dexterity for somebody who was rested last week. And over the top. Reece Stanley thought he was involved, but he had another big mountain he had to jump over.
So 38 goals, 16 for the season so far, Shannon Neal. Hunting down 40 plus. He's got 39 now, and an amazing year with plenty still to come.
Well, it's been an incredible turnaround, this particular one. And the Cats getting the game back the way they would like to play. It's a low-pressure game at the present time. It's very much just a possession game by both teams. But that's just a great kick to advantage. Neil had the spot. It was kicked on top of his head. Brilliant kick from Dangerfield. Got right through the ball. And Shannon Neal did the rest.
So some class from the Cats in the last 5 minutes. Puts them a goal in front, less than 2 to play first quarter.
Back it out, guys.
The Swans haven't got a wingman. They're down 1 in the 6-6 and 6. I'm not sure what at least the wingman, he's just starting right down deep, given that they've just conceded a couple of goals.
So Neil with 2 after 10 in the last 3 weeks. Jordan rode the initial tackle and then taken high.
Let him up, please. Let him up. It's your kick.
Amazing turnaround in this game, Lynchy.
Go out with him, Mark. Go out with him. Clown. You.
Jordan. Penetrating kick towards the top of the square. McLean was right in the middle there. Comes back out towards Haywood. Grabbed.
Yep. Thanks, Will. Will, thank you. Rux,
I think we're paying Lynchy by the word. Laddams and Stanley, they wrestle. There's going to be a free kick to Pistol Pete. What'd you make of that one, lads? A bit of ruck lotto, or fair enough?
I'd love to see a replay of every ruck infringement, Hilly. So he kicks the goal, we'll get that.
He'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Crody enjoying the applause of the local crowd. So Laddams kicking into a marginal breeze at this end, but puts it through, and it's back all square.
That's his second shot at goal in this game, Pete Latham, so he is pushing forward hard. And he gets the free kick here against Reece Stanley, who gets done for a hold. So I think you're right in terms of ruck lotto a little bit there. Like, seriously, both players are engaging each other.
I suppose Stanley had his reaching arm.
Yeah.
So he couldn't reach to the ball as opposed to just an arm around his waist. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Greg Swan does with the ruck rules next year. Chris Scott might voice his opinion as well. He doesn't have to. Shake of the head tells us what his opinion is. Ruck lotto. Good contest between these two. I feel like the Swans will be back in the premiership race next year. Won't make the 8 this year. Began the round 10th. 11 wins, 10 losses, but they finished with a couple of victories. They'll finish with a 13-win, 10-loss record, which would get you finals. Quite a few of the recent seasons. Atkins spins out of a jam. Heads out wide as the seconds tick down. Stengel had it, lost it. It's been a bit rusty at times this year as well. Missed a couple of games. Mullen rolled. Smith clean-handed to the pocket, and the blitz with one palm.
Too good. Held off the lizard with one arm and controlled the ball with the other. He's going to go around the corner as well after the siren. So he does a pretty good job with these two.
If he does, he's going to have to step towards the fence.
Yep.
And he has to snap from in line. So he'll put a little mark there. There you go. So he knows exactly where he can come back to.
It's got Jeremy Cameron out there.
I like
giving
that
him
little
some
practice,
advice.
little walkthrough here.
So this for the lead at quarter time. By behind or a goal. He bends it, or maybe scores will be tied at quarter time. And that's about right, really. Good contest between these two. 4-3, 27 apiece. Fantastic to have your company on the Sunday ticket. And the footy never stops, of course. AFL 360, what a massive round to digest on AFL 360 and the couch. I'm sure you tuned in. 27 apiece at quarter time here. Second term, not far away. Stay with us.
Hey, there we go. Quarter time here. Eddie G. Tina, what's going on? The famous duo in the house. Good stuff, good stuff. Good to see. I tell you what, the Swans came out absolutely on fire in that opening 6 or so minutes of this game. Geelong seemed to steady the tide a little bit and hit back hard. There we go. 4-3, 27 apiece here at quarter time. It's all tied up. We're going for the Swans today. All those Freo Collingwood supporters and everyone around there. We're going for the Swans. Come on, Swannies. Anyway, I tell you what, she's a pretty good game up there. Looks like a beautiful day. Sun is shining up there at the SCG, and we are definitely in for a round ding game. Let's hope Sydney can continue this form. They've been in reasonably good form the past few weeks, so that's going to hold them in good stead for today. And of course, Geelong, well, the Catters, they haven't played a top 8 team for a long time. And they've probably forgotten what a little bit of pressure is. Sydney, I know, isn't top 8 team, but that being said, they're sitting 10th and they're going all right. You stick the live ladder on, Geelong, as a draw, they'll go equal second with Brisbane. So it's probably, well, for the Cats, it's probably really irrelevant. The draw, the only relevance there is they will be tied with the Lions on second. Freo's 7th. Yeah, they're 7th. Still doing all right. Tell you what, it's going to be interesting in that final game today. West Coast, the Bulldogs, I think it is, isn't it? You just never know there. Hopefully there's an upset there and the Eagles can get up in that game. But you know what? The one good thing, Gold Coast losing yesterday, that was probably that extra game. So I know they've still got 2 games. So they still, the Gold Coast Suns, they still need to win a couple. Freo need to win. It's as simple as that. I think one of the things for next week is a couple of these teams are playing each other next week. So that could actually alter. Let me just have a quick glance at that for a minute. just at the ladder. Have a look at the fixture there for a minute. The last round, Collingwood plays Melbourne. I'm just talking about the top 8 sides here. The Western Bulldogs play Freo. Western Bulldogs play Freo. The only... Oh, there it is. It is... the Lions. The Lions play Hawthorn. All right, so that was a little bit of the danger. That was actually a bit of the danger with Freo losing that percentage and the Giants getting that percentage to 7%, because the Giants play St Kilda. St Kilda are always a chance to topple the Giants next week. So it's going to be interesting. Bulldogs, Dockers next week. Brisbane, Hawthorn next week. Of course, Collingwood, Melbourne next week. That's really going to change and see how it all unfolds. And of course, Gold Coast playing Essendon in that extra game. And of course, Port Adelaide, after Gold Coast lost yesterday, Port Adelaide could quite easily topple Gold Coast Suns. That's probably the last game Ken Hinkley will get at home as the coach there for Port Adelaide. All chips in West Coast. Yeah, true, but you know, you've just got to keep winning in case Gold Coast lose both games as well. Hey, the lineups for these games, just before we go. Will Hayward comes in. Peter Adams comes in for Sydney. Justin McInerney. Brodie Grundy, a huge out there for Sydney. Milestone games. Lewis Melican and Nick Blakey. 100 and 150 games. For the caddies, though, for the Putty Cats, Paddy Dangerfield, the champs back in. Jack Martin going out was Jai Clark, Mitch Knivet. They are the players going out. Let's just have a quick glance at the goal scorers, top goal scorers and the top stats. Players' stats, and then we're going to head back down to the ground. Shannon Neal, I'll tell you what, they need to keep him quiet. They need to defend him well, Sydney, because he's looking pretty strong down there. He's a force to be reckoned with down there for the Catters. He's kicked 2 straight goals from his 3 kicks. Graham Myers kicked a beautiful one from the boundary. Jack Martin also singles. Hayden McLean, Laddams, Isaac Heaney, Braden Campbell, all singles there for the Swannies. Bailey Smith there. Of course, he always a bit of a ball magnet, isn't he, there for the Catters. He's had 12, the only one in double figures, up until half-time. 8 kicks, 4 handballs, 3 marks and a clearance, so looking all right. Laddams, best for Sydney on 8. Heaney on 7. Got to get him flying into the game. Errol Gould, 6. I tell you what, the Lizard looks pretty good. He gives him an incredible run off the back. There's Nick Blakey. He's had the 5 touches, 3 kicks, couple of handballs. Papley, we need to get him into the game as well. There we go. Jack Martin, as I said, and Guthrie on 6. All right. Jezza Cameron, not yet hit the scoreboard, just the 5 touches, 2 kicks, 3 handballs. And the Chad Warner needs to lift. He's just had the 4 touches so far. All right, let's head back down to the action. It's all tied up as we go into the bounce of the ball for the second quarter.
So Stanley flies early against Laddams. 11th season as a Cat, Stanley. Laddams hurry kick. Wobbles inside 50. Quick hands to Smith. And he goes back out towards Humphreys.
Bit high, Tacoming's had a really good start, Jono, to this game.
Goulden's kick was looking for McLean Smith in the way. And now the ball to be won. And it's going nowhere.
McLean got a couple on him early, but since then he's been able to get his structure right. I think the ability to restrict a little bit of ball movement has helped his positioning as well. You can see him just popping out the back of screen there on McLean.
Laddams and Stanley continue that battle. Little slip from Papley. Atkins went and got it. Gave it to Mullum. He's doing a good job at the moment, being an offensive weapon as well. Jeremy Cameron got some concern there, maybe with a hip or lower rib.
Long way up the ground. We tend to see that when he's not impacting on the scoreboard. He's right up on that half-back flank. He's roaming Jeremy at the moment.
Laddams to the front. Wicks. Ball's going to spin towards centre half forward. Martin hit it hard. So did Goulden. Tried to get it to Heaney. Wicks off the ground. Goes again with a second soccer effort. McLean, clever little tap towards Jordan. Papley round the corner. Is it going to land in the right spot? It does. Buller.
Well, he's been a real find for the Sydney Swans, Buller. He's got some issues with his goal kicking. This one around the corner won't show us what he needs to work on, but he's when he has been having set shots straight in front, running straight, he looks like there's some technical issues he needs to address, but this one will challenge him. Rule number 1, don't go skinny.
So the young work in progress, straight through the middle, and he puts his team back in front by a goal.
Well, he couldn't have got it more centimetre perfect, and good afternoon to Dennis Clemente. But that was absolutely magnificent. It's just always exciting when you see a young key forward come in, Jono, and you know, have an impact at the end of a season.
Yeah, definitely. I like the work of Sydney in around the contest here. Both sides really fighting hard in there. Wicks with a couple of little kicks off the ground. But clean hit there. That keeps it alive. Cats can't then transition out of the back half, which they're very good at. Quick kick by Papley, playing in front.
The game 9 for Jack Buller. 8 of them this year. And they have had to get a little inventive with so many players out at different times this year. The Sydney Swans, Logan McDonald, a few others that could be forward like Joel Amati, etc. Not there for them. From the restart, Laddams in the absence of Grundy. Heaney goes hard. Gordon and Heaney almost in each other's way. Mullen did well, little toe poke, and then wrapped up by Jordan.
So Gordon's had 8 so far in this game, only going to 50% by foot with the 5 kicks he's had.
Golden received the tap from Laddams, bouncing ball, could cause problems for the Cats. Well done to Koning, did it well with some composure. Now Stewart's kick down the line to a 50-50 at the front. Stengel did really well, taps it to Manor. He's got some company, and then Martin overruns it. Slingshot again here for the Swans. McLean, this is when they're really dangerous. Inside 50, Papley's kick was smothered. That was really good work, and then Warner picked it up. A little bit of a wobbly one. It's a bouncing ball. It's a chaos ball. Where does it land? Humphreys was able to compose himself and then rake it outside 50. Swans still with a chance. It's picked up by Mills to Blakey, who's charging through, couldn't quite get purchase on the football and a ball up.
Well, back it out. It's just a good smother in the finish.
We've seen 3 ripping smothers so far in this game.
This is his 10th game this year, Tom Papley, so just hasn't quite had it's not the same Papley we've seen in recent seasons, is it?
Not the same Chad Warner at the present time. He's had the ball a couple of times. He's found ways to muck it up, which is a concern if you're a Geelong fan.
Heaney to Papley, the man we've been speaking of. Didn't hit that as well as he'd like to. And then dumps it all the way to the pocket. Henry, with the outside of his boot, tried to keep it alive, but put it into the grandstand. Out on the full. To work on that left-handed handball, perhaps. Element. Lloyd about to take it, so see what he wants to do here. Shields his eyes from the sun before he works out whether it's a short pass or pop to that House of Heaney. Is that pocket the House of Heaney at this end as well?
Yep.
Sounds better than the Andrea Bocelli pocket as well. So we'll go with that. Been renamed since about round 10.
I think the foundations are still a little bit wobbly down that end.
So a good contest at the SCG. Dempsey back in board. And a hurried one again, and that's got to be a 50-metre penalty.
Well, they really lax on this the last month, the umpires, but when you knock the ball out of their hands, you give them absolutely no room to be lenient. You're better off bowling them over, Jono, because they haven't been paying that one. But
that's right.
That's dumb stuff. He can't believe it himself.
McCartan's only kicked 2 goals this year, but this is going to waltz him into about 15 metres out from goal. Comes in and bangs it through. And just like the first quarter, the Swans sustain a bit of a buffer. It's back to 12 points.
Oh, the 50 was definitely there. He's actually lucky not to be brought directly in front of it. The man on the mark was actually standing next to the white line. So you're there, you should be on it anyway and straightened up. But there it was, 50 metres. Sydney have built some pretty strong pressure so far at the start of this second term. And the repeat entries are really starting to hurt the Cats. A bit of frustration there from Tyson Stengel.
Well, he got a couple of goals as a forward before he became a backman again. Funny,
that experiment didn't last too long.
No, he tried to fix one problem and created two. Ben Cox, didn't he, by pushing him forward?
But funnily, when he was a forward, he struggled to kick goals as a backman. There's no expectation. He nailed it.
Squeezed through the traffic. Himes on the run, and this is right in his wheelhouse.
It's brilliant football, albeit the accuracy, but the clearance, the ground ball get and give was superb skills. So the Lizard's got the ball in his hand. It could go anywhere, but if he looks to the left, he's going to kick it to the right. Decides to have a little bit of a gallop first, and then long ball to the wing. And now Campbell, scrubby little kick, was pressured off it. Holmes, Henry, just works off his man really well. Ran Sheldrick round in circles, and then skies one towards half forward in the Dangerfield direction. He cleverly waited behind, sits in his hands, and then kicks towards the top of the square. He's good to watch. Neil, he takes another one.
So's the kicking inside 450 of danger today. That's two absolute rippers to Shannon Neal. Winning big contests, as you'd expect, danger, but how quickly he's responding, getting goal side. Once again, first to react, gone. Melican, no chance of stopping it.
All started with a missed tackle, though, Johnny. You just can't have missed tackles as badly executed as the one that was going into the forward line for Sydney before it got turned around. Just needs a goal to finish.
For his 40th goal for the year. Like shelling peas over the last 4 weeks. Shannon Neal is on fire.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite young players in the game, this bloke. He just is really going to be a gun. But here's the tackle we're talking about. He has got him cold, doesn't make it, and then doesn't put pressure on. That's an effort that would be addressed by the line coach at length, I reckon, at half-time, if not beforehand.
Because that's how it hurts. 4 goals today to the Cats have come off errors from the Sydney Swans. Drop mark, a smother. Obviously, McCartan not handballing that one through when he had an opportunity, and a missed tackle.
Pick 18, 2021, Angus Sheldrick, 4th season on the list. It's kind of the Luke Parker replacement.
And he's on the improved, Dwayne.
Yeah.
He's got to tidy up a few areas with disposal, and clearly that's not him anyway, that missed tackle. Not sure what happened there.
Adams squeezed it away, got it to half forward. Tackle from Henry, he was almost waiting for the Toro to pick it up. Little knock away, it was nice, and got the duck out the back door. Didn't quite work, so the umpire says to Sheen Mullen, I'll have it, and I'll ball it up.
You saw Papley just, going a wider arc when he had that ball. He doesn't want to slip over.
Good serves down. Sheldrick scrapes a kick away. Hard up against the boundary. Heaney sees it out. Swans by 5. Really took the first 10 minutes for the Cats to hit their straps early in this. Blitzarves and Laddams. Blitzarves works his way to the front. Sheldrick with the crumbs. Lloyd. Entry inside 50. Front and square. O'Connor had a fair bit of it. Dropped it, and then Heaney came in keenly, and out it goes.
Still is a bit of slipping in that pocket, isn't there?
Yeah, his feet went from underneath him.
And you mentioned Papley taking a wider arc.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the players are really concerned about it. It'd be much more difficult for Geelong because they haven't had the experience on that danger zone. But it doesn't matter what the curator said. It's a shocking decision by the trust, and hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, Jared, that far side over there is the major issue still on the ground. The corridor's not too bad at this end, but that far side is terrible still.
None Shall Sleep is one of Baccelli's biggest hits too. That's a lot of people losing some sleep since that concert happened at this ground. We'll get another ball up here. Bright sunshine, good conditions at the moment for a good contest. Laddams and Blitzars to do the right work again. Sheldrick, he got out the back door. Good centering kick, touched by De Koning on the line.
What he has done, Sheldrick, which I've liked, Jono, there's no doubt he's been told, you go and sit on Bailey Smith because he is butchering the Swans, or he did in the first quarter. He dominated with 12. And since then, he's actually tied him up just to one possession.
And he's actually fixed up that mistake as well. Three brilliant efforts since making that error by not making the tackle on Jack Henry.
Speaking of the devil, Henry to O'Connor. So O'Connor gets it to beat humanity on the outer side. Flew before acceptance as Dempsey landed, then marked it. That was unique, and then kicks towards half forward. Juggler from the blitz gives it to Holmes, and then probing ball to Neal. They think it through well. He goes back with urgency. He'll be kicking from the arc. He's ignored a couple of leads so far. He's seeing them well. 3 early in this match. So Neal comes in. It's certainly a straight-looking kick, and the distance isn't an issue either. He is deadly accurate this afternoon. Shannon Neal making a real difference in this.
He's just so balanced. Reminds me of a bloke you would have run into a few times, Lynchy, and the great Bernie Quinlan, just a magnificent drop punt.
Yeah, beautiful. He lines up straight, he kicks through it, and obviously a very, like Bernie, very powerful through the core and in his quads, but that's beautiful finish. And he's, for a young man that probably hasn't played a lot of football, he looks like he's developing beautifully. Great athlete, as we know, but his footy smarts is improving by the week.
Good to see Dempsey getting involved, and Holmes. Haven't had much of the footy. They've had a lot of their big ball winners, with the exception of Smith, reasonably quiet. Myers has also only had, he had 3 possessions. O'Connor has had a couple. He's doing the tagging role. Close only just the one, Jono. So there's a lot of starvation there for the Cats midfield.
Gone. Wicks almost pulled up on the attempted tackle, maybe. Detoli on the wing. Wicks left it behind. Close. Dempsey, another touch. Feeds it on Blitzars. What's he want to do with it? It's back outside to Close. Centering kick. Got bumped on it. And Blakey paid that mark. It didn't look like it travelled the full 15, but they paid it. Warner can't mark. Cameron still playing up the field. They've got the stay-at-home, or super boot, now that Jared's aligned him with Bernie Quinlan. He's kicked 4 now, super boot. Shannon Neal. Hard, aggressive stuff in the middle, and we'll get another ball up.
You're allowed one super boot every century, aren't you?
I think so. We've got some new smiling assassins as well out there.
I reckon if he didn't know who Scratcher Neal was, he's going to have to Google who Super Boot was as well.
Yeah.
McLean flicked it out the back only to Martin. Scrambly kick. Ball still to be won. Holmes goes in hard over the top. Going nowhere, that one. So all square. Of course, these two teams played a draw back in 2023. Warner tries to get it out of the congestion, doesn't do so. Martin wins the football to Manor. Manor with some space and time, but it's offline.
It's not like him. He's normally deadly. Smith off the ground trying to break that sort of run-with roll, or what we think is a run-with roll. Hasn't had a touch in this, well, he's had 1 touch in this term, and he's on the bench. O'Sheen Mullen also off the ground, but so's Errol Gould.
Blakey to McCartan in the pocket. Tom sends it wide toward the wing. Stanley got a fist on it, straight down to his opposite number 1. Warner on the move. It all worked. Heaney from Jordan. Swoops. Caught. Just the tackle. And then the wrestle.
Yeah.
He's frustrated here.
There's been a little bit going on between these two all game.
Yep. They're playing for keeps, these two. Geelong free kick. Yeah, the tackle did slip, but it was still above the knee.
And the free kick's definitely there if it was against Heaney.
Yep.
He engaged.
So Connor.
Just on the ground. Bailey Smith.
Smith to Stanley. And then to Cameron.
2 metres back. 2 metres back.
So Cameron still sitting on 79 goals for the season. Laterally to Myers.
He's going to wrap here. He's going to wrap. Oh, Colin Myers.
Myers didn't really want to go in that direction and heads to Dempsey in Heaney's corner.
You can see where his eyes were, Brian Myers. He knew where the space was.
Ollie, here with me, mate.
Kicked his 50th goal last week. Did Ollie Dempsey.
Right on it.
Real live wire for this team, the rising star of 2024. After he averaged 17 disposals a game, he's going the traditional drop punt from there and misses.
I had a feeling he was going to go around the corner, but then I think he just knew that Heaney had rights.
Not the domain of Dempsey, the house of Heaney. Pocket Jared. Blakey Long. Should be swallowed up by De Koning. He just fumbled it late. Not his own mess up. Humphreys, little double grabber. Smith. Flick over the top from Cameron didn't work. Florent helps it out. Ollie Dempsey, last year's Rising Star winner. Conroy Sullivan chance this year. There has been a couple of teams that have had back-to-back Rising Star winners. The Saints did it with Kaczynski and Rewalt. Brisbane did it with Buckley and Chris Scott. That man who was just on camera then. He's a Rising Star winner himself. Florent through the traffic. Papley, Warner, squeezed it. Henry off hands, a little too slick. The hand off to De Koning, so he had a mess to mop up as well. Smith, stripped. Wasn't tackled, he was stripped. So maybe that's why the free kick wasn't paid, but the crowd wanted it paid.
A couple of times we've seen Sydney are really keen to release with hands, just do the 2 metre handball, so they're not transferring pressure. Well, they're transferring pressure from one to the receiver, and Warner's been on the end of a couple.
Stanley just shoveled out towards Smith, but he was grabbed, and then Myers puts the pressure on Gould and ball it up.
A little bit lucky there, Smith. Didn't really get the handball out.
Game of footy, though.
See, there's almost a team tag on Smith right now. Everyone's very conscious of him.
Certainly playing for cattle stations here as Warner's wrapped up in a standing tackle. Jack Bowes watching on, the sub for the Cats, and Caden Cleary is the sub for the Swans. We haven't mentioned that today.
Thanks, Todd. Hey.
Stanley and McLean. Stanley gets a second chance and a wobbly one off the boot. Martin overran it. And attempting to keep it in Mills and out of play.
Really clever hands there by Brian Myers inside, releasing a handball to Stanley. Got it forward.
Being coached. You saw Chris Scott getting a little agitated. Chris Scott moves to 5th all-time today for games coached. In his 15th season as coach of the Cats, goes past David Parkin. One of the all-time greats. Florent pumps it towards the wing. And that's a mark to O'Sullivan. One of those we're talking about a bit. He claims it. It's the Blues, but yeah, not just Levi Ashcroft, Murphy Reid, Dan Curtin, Archie Roberts. It's a good feel for the Rising Star this year. Stanley, front of the pack, hands it off. Smith off and running, pokes to the pocket, and Jezza beaten by the fist of McCartan again.
Looks a little bit sore, does Jezza. So to Ollie Florent, getting back across the half-back line. A couple of nice marks by the Cats talls. Just needed this one. Really didn't get his hands anywhere near that.
McLean pats it down. Smith grabs. And it goes out of play. And they're going to give him insufficient intent.
Is he trying to keep that in then?
Well, it landed inside, Dwayne.
Yeah, if the rule is insufficient intent, and if your intent is to keep it in, then how is that a free?
Well, surely his first intent was to try and get rid of the football because he was being tackled. So an interesting one.
Thank you.
Getting his feathers ruffled.
I'm sure this lands inside.
Yeah, and he tried to keep it in. His intent was to keep it in. So change the wording.
Insufficient skill, is that what you're saying?
Or just that's what I feel like.
Atkins ball hit hard by Dempsey by hand. Humphreys standing start. It's an up and under. Still a chance the Cats. And tapped through for a behind.
A couple of contentious decisions. It's got the Cats coach up and about in the box. As you said, Dwayne, it's pretty tight.
Well, there's a bit on this.
Oh, absolutely.
Big difference for the Cats finishing top 2. They'll be second tonight if they win this, but they lose this. They are vulnerable to finish anywhere all the way down to 7th at the end of the home and away and attack the finals from 7th, which could be an away final anywhere. The way the ladder's shaping up. Dangerfield having a rest. His return game, he was rested last week for the game against the Bombers. Back into play. Smith has had plenty of it. They've had plenty of him. Every time he gets it, he's under pressure. Atkins cautiously helped across the line by Chad Warner. Had some soft tissue and tightness issues this year, Danger. He doesn't look concerned. No kebab. He doesn't look concerned at the moment.
It's interesting that Smith's had 18 disposals, 10 kicks, 8 handballs. Clearly ahead of any other player on the ground.
Yeah, next best is 9 by Jack Henry. For the Cats, that is.
Cunningham earns himself a high free kick.
Well, he's got a way to go to catch Harry Sheasel today, who got racked up mid-50s.
54 for Harry Sheasel today in the North Melbourne game.
What's your best, Jared?
Mid-40s, Dwayne, I think, from memory, but I didn't get near 50.
Now, Cunningham's kick a little bit ambitious over to Mills. Cameron was bearing down on him, and then the kick over-clubbed completely, looking for Rampy, who's got a bit of work to do, and then he just pats it out. And the Geelong players want insufficient intent.
Well, that's not...
They want the extra kick afterwards, I think.
Absolutely.
It's not a free kick anymore, that kicking the ball away after it rolls out of bounds.
So we believe.
Well, we've learned that in the last 24 hours. There we go. Well, it's exactly a carbon copy.
Yeah, no, you're allowed to, apparently, now.
Yeah, that's right. The governance of this game.
Adams, Smith with the big volleyball fist. Wobbly ball, close with the soccer skills. Coming through, Stengel. Through the pack he goes, round the corner towards Neil. Neil's the meat and the sandwich. Couldn't quite pick it off his shoelaces. Came back to close. And then to Martin. Back this week and back with a goal.
Well done, Tyson Stengel. That was huge. That was his best moment of this game so far. Breaks through a couple of tackles and then gets the ball into a dangerous spot inside forward 50.
This is the one, isn't it? Errol Goulden goes hard, but he goes to the deck. And his man gets involved.
Look at the Cats' numbers around it. Everything's Swans are just flowing towards the goal square.
They are just running into that dangerous area, the Cats. There's the Stengel kick to the dangerous area. And they had a 3-on-3, but a couple of Swans went to ground, and the outnumber ends up going through the big sticks.
Just enough on that tackle from Shannon Neal on Mills, so he missed the target.
2 goals for Jack Barton today.
Swans kicked the first 3 goals of this game. Cats have been fantastic since, and this is the Cats' biggest lead of the game. Warner, little dainty pass for the 1-2. All part of the plan. Hits the deck. Pappy gets his moment. Feeds it inside. Campbell. Great push. Fantastic pressure. Guthrie, whose brother returned in the twos this week. Zach, Cam Guthrie, a contender, same as Mitch Duncan, to come into the Cats lineup next week or the week after. So they are in good shape with the finals approaching.
Peter, Reece.
In the middle, kick off the ground. Wicks only to Smith, who barrels it towards centre half forward, but the Swans have the numbers to mop it up. McCartan, and he goes laterally across the ground and didn't really club it at all. Lloyd had to work. Cunningham hits McLean. So less than 5 to go in this first half. Geelong with a 9-point buffer.
Well, what they've done well, the Cats, is that they've really clamped down on the Swans' 3 killer agents. And Heaney's one who was on fire early, but he's faded. Chad Warner, Atkins is doing a job on him at stoppage.
Rowbottom's hurry kick to Papley. Wheels and goes round the corner. Might have been partially smothered. Dempsey retreats back. And then Stewart just has to pop it up in the air. He knew what he was doing. Atkins.
Just controlling the ball now. The Cats don't really want to take too many dangerous options, though. Brian Mize was there for an eternity.
Yeah, he can hit a target and set it all up.
Go with him. Play on.
There's that little dink kick. Dempsey, hold possession, hold possession. Cameron, again with Shannon Neal, the stay-at-home main forward. Cameron can essentially play where he wants to play. He's played every game, hasn't been rested. One of the 8 that's played every game, Jeremy Cameron, but he does look as if he's got almost a whib or little issue with something middle of the body. Gets back and gets this at half back. Pops it down the spine. Stengel. Well, Cameron was there on the run by, and he was ignored. There's been a few that have ignored Jeremy. They go longer too. Well, Stanley was the riser. A few options there that could have jumped.
Rampy and Dangerfield out the back.
Stanley, Stengel, shakes one. Can he shake 2? Has it for a while. Snaps. Knew where the goals were. Outstanding goal from Tyson Stengel.
That's 2 efforts in a row that have been just so strong and powerful.
Yep.
From Tyson Stengel.
That's a brilliant goal, as Matty said. You've got to know where the goals are. But Reece Stanley, his knock, underrated Reece Stanley. I know he gets a bit of heat, but he's a premiership player. He's a darn good unit. And he can go forward. He's very much interacts with blitzers. But right now, it's all about Stengel. Missed tackle. Slippery boots once again. You come to this ground, you've got to get your long stops on.
This second tackle, Campbell had him cold.
Yeah.
That's how strong that is.
Looked like the road runner, his feet were spinning hard.
But Stengel's weren't. Stengels were dug in. That was great.
Can't believe they've lost the handle. The Cats now in control of this match.
Massive turnaround from a 20-point lead to a 15-point margin of the Cats.
Good hands.
Warner tries to stop the right. Gave it to Errol. If anyone can hit a chest, it's Errol. What can Hayden McLean do to stop the right?
As I said, he's well and truly within his range here. He generally misses to the right. So he's got a, he's had enough of those misses to the right, Jono, to readjust and get his run up right. Just aim inside the goals. Don't give them away.
You're right behind him at home. That'll work back to perfection. He's got 2, and the Swans on the way back.
Oh, he knew it as well. As soon as he kicked it, he started waving his right hand, saying this ball is just going to float back nicely a great set of clearance here by the Swannies.
Yeah, coming off the
Nice
wing.
power, yeah. Warner to Goulden, hit up short. Happy days training drill.
Yeah, I think Ollie Florin, he knows his spots on the line. Have a look at him coming in, charging through. Just whips it out to Chad Warner, who's looking for the 1-2, but it wasn't on. Nice kick inside. Keeps them nice and tight at half-time, which is fast approaching. Well, we want to Matty, a really good game of footy
Yeah, we've
Sunday
got one.
afternoon.
Absolutely, we have got one. And just gaining a little bit of momentum late, the Swans in this first half, after Geelong have really put them to the sword. Stanley, emphatic fist down. Laddams, Warner, looks behind, look forward some. Little chip inside 50. Felder Papley comes back to McLean. McLean pressured off the kick and in the end kicks him to the third row.
Yeah, good pressure there by Bailey Smith.
Not sure what Warner saw. He tried to go short, mishandled the footy. Didn't quite work out again when he was able to break free.
Might be time just to go back to the
contest.
basics for a period for Chad rather than the trick shots.
Mullen. 90 seconds to half-time, and a big 90 seconds at that. Swans have got their mojo back. Blakey tried to squeeze that through the eye of a needle. Myers can kick through the eye of a needle. Dangerfield on the run. Tried to power it through a couple. Milliken hands it back.
Sydney free kick.
Sydney free kick, but they'll play on to advantage. To Tolley, little 1-2. It didn't quite work. They were on the same page, but it's only young of games.
Free kick was well off the ball with Heaney again. I think it was.
But if you're going to play this high-pressure handball game, you want to make sure you're technically up to what you're tactically trying to do. At the moment, the Swans have let themselves down a few times.
Blakey tried to bend that around. Guthrie pumps it out. Big ball on the wing, and Dempsey got there ahead of Campbell.
It's a good battle, that one.
So Dempsey gives it to Holmes, who steams along the wing and then kicks towards Dangerfield, who's got two to beat. Felder Malikan bobbles out of his hands. Back to Holmes. Holmes's bouncing ball, bit hot for Cameron and also McCartan and out.
Ollie Dempsey. 8 possessions off the wing in this term, but when you see Holmes steaming around that boundary line, Jono, things normally happen.
Back into play. Laddams, Blitzarves, Dempsey, bang! Heaney got him. And got him legally.
Bit more like it around the ball now. She's pretty hot. That's inside.
Big pack. Eyes are darting. Players will be darting. You can see Mills with Stengel watching him. Laddams took it out of the air, got it away. Henry takes the mark. Plays on. He knows there's not long left. And he kicked it to a friend in the crowd. Maybe his brother's out there. He's also trying to get back into this team.
No, he's made a few mistakes, but he looks like he's primarily got Hayward, and Hayward can kill you with 4 or 5 possessions, but he hasn't had them yet.
So Blakey, his landmark match. Floating ball, McLean couldn't grab it, then Campbell's kick smothered and eventually out. So the Swans with a late goal brings it back to 9 as we head to the main break. They led by 20 early stages of the first quarter. Stanley down to Manor. Manor off the side of the boot. Will it work? Dangerfield just fended off his man, grabbed the football, then they grabbed him with interest. And that is half-time. So an entertaining first half. So it comes in at 10th versus the third place team on the ladder. But it's been a good contest so far. It's Geelong by 9 as we head towards half-time.
Yeah, perfect conditions for football. Bright sunshines that are starting to lengthen over the SCG Cats with this one, and then next week Richmond at the MCG to finish off their preparation for finals. They will play finals. They can't miss the 8, but where do they attack finals from? Second tonight. If they win this game, the Cats will be in the day 15 wins and 6 losses, and having won their past 4 games coming in, Also got the second best percentage in the comp, 140%. The Crows just ahead of them with 141 as we head downstairs to Alistair Lynch.
Thanks, Dwayne. Yeah, the Cats be pretty happy at the moment coming off the ground. They started off, as we spoke about earlier in that first quarter, they were struggling to stop the transition from the Sydney Swans. The Swans scored 3 goals, 2 from their back half very early, but then their pressure rating went right through the roof, and they were able to get the intercepts going, and that's been the big turnaround. They scored 6 goals, 3 from their intercept work, and that's the likes of O'Sullivan, De Koning, and obviously Thomas Stewart's been another one. And they'll be pretty happy with Bailey Smith at halftime as well. The Swans are going to have to put time into him, no doubt. He's had 20 disposals and looks really dangerous. So a really professional, albeit slow start from the Geelong Footy Club, but they're looking pretty good at halftime. They'll be fairly happy at halftime going in to have a chat to Chris Scott. I reckon he'd be pretty relieved after a slow start.
Thanks, Lynchy. Has been an amazing season from Jeremy Cameron, 79 goals coming in, but people forget how big Shannon Neal's been. 41 for the year now.
Oh, that qualifies for Super Boot candidacy, absolutely. This guy is one of the best drop punts in the business. He's just a magnificent mark above. He's got great timing. He's only a baby, Jono.
Oh, he's been fantastic again today. Now it's a month of football that he's putting together. Strong finish to the season for Shannon Neal, and will be a presence for sure in September for the Cats. And just where he's kicking them, he can do it all now. Around the corner, outside 50 is not a problem whatsoever for this man on screen. The delivery has been sensational towards him as well. Kick into the advantage. Dangerfield's hit him up twice when getting goal side.
Yeah, there's so much upside too. There's one, Max Holmes. He's only kicking at 25% with Stephen King, who could well be a senior coach in his own right at some stage down the track. But there's a lot of upside with this Cats side, despite the fact that they burnt the Swans off in that second term.
Well, it's all from turnover, and that's where they've been able to create a lot of their scores today. The Cats, some errors from the Sydney Swans, but it's a big smother here. Rampy getting in the way, closing the space, and then they're able to go forward, chip over the top to Jack Martin, who continues to impress in the hoops. Tyson Stengel had a good patch in that second quarter as well. Over the back here again, Shannon Neal. McCartan has a chance, just rushed that one through, doesn't take that, kicks it to space, goes out of play. Campbell did everything cool. A free kick to the Cats, and Brian Myers goes bang from the boundary line. Super finish from Brian Myers. And this is one you were a little bit critical of as well, Jared, where Sheldon just has a chance to tackle Jack Henry there. Doesn't lay that tackle. Poor chase to follow, and the Cats go down. Dangerfield gets involved in this one, and Shannon Neal breaks through 50, and it's a beautiful chip over the top. Another goal to the Cats.
Yeah, and a combination of mistakes there. I mean, even the mark there should have been taken. But the Cats applied the pressure. They know what's at stake. They missed out so close last week. Last year, you could almost say they were runners-up, going down to Brisbane by just a kick in that prelim final. They were magnificent last year, but just missed.
Access all areas on Fox Footy. Great to have you with us. Alistair Lynch again. Plenty to get to in the second half, Lynchy.
Thanks, Dwayne. Yeah, the Sydney Swans, they've got some concerns, I think, with that transition game that the Geelong Footy Club have put into place. But the positive from them, and we spoke to Dean Cox pre-game, they got belted at clearances last week, albeit they won against the Brisbane Lions. They're +8 for clearances and certainly dominating in the centre bounce clearances, and that's where they're getting their scores, 4 goals, 2 from stoppages, and that's a big win. But I think if they're going to rely on that to win the game, they're going to be sadly lacking and disappointed, I would have thought. So they need to tidy that aspect of the game up off transition and make sure they get that connection going inside forward 50 and hit some targets inside forward 50 and lay some pressure so that the half-backs of the Geelong Footy Club don't just bounce off the likes of Stewart and De Koning and set up those scores. So some concerns for the Swans, albeit the stoppages have turned around.
Fantastic to have the 3-time premiership line, Alistair Lynch, downstairs with us. And it never stops on Fox Footy. The live action might be big, but not as big as the Chief and Bounce. Oh. And of course, first crack, Kingy and Joey. Looking forward to your company tonight.
All right, we'll be back with the commentators not far away. Albert, how you going? He guess it's, yeah, look, it is about a 50-50. Looking at these incredible momentum swings Of course, Sydney got off to the flyer. Geelong hit back hard. Sydney again early and Geelong late. It's got sort of that pattern where Sydney starts off the quarters really good, really hard, putting the pressure on and able to score. That's where they're getting the scores from. And then, of course, Geelong just being able to stem the tide a little bit, hitting back hard late in the quarters, getting the job done. But it's 8-7-55. The Catters 7-4-46, 11 scoring shots to 15. Tell you what, this is a ring-a-ding-ding. I tell you what, it's a fantastic contested game here. Good pressure on by both sides. I tell you what, the ball movement's pretty fast out there. And of course, Bailey Smith is having a fantastic game there for the Putty Cats. All right, hey, just looking at the live ladder, if the Cats win, that's what it's going to be. Cats will be second, 64 points, half a game clear on third. So if the Cats win, all they have to do next week is win, and they'll end up second with a home final with Adelaide, of course. Adelaide pretty much sealing top spot if they win next week. Adelaide and Geelong will get the home final and double chance there. Still everyone battling it out for the double chance, third and fourth. Let's just have a look at the goal scorers in there. What were the scores? There we go. Sydney, 3 goals, 1 in that second term. The Cats, 4 goals, 4. So the Cats did well late, putting on the pressure. Tell you what, Shannon Neal, as he got, talk about the super boot, that's spot on when they said that. He's kicked 4 straight goals from 5 kicks. I tell you what, wowee, they got some targets down there, the Cats. Jack Martin's got 2. Stengel and Myers are the other single goal scorers there for Geelong. And, of course, for the Sydney Swans, Hayden McLean, the only multiple with 2 goals. Singles to McCartan, Laddams, Isaac Heaney, Braden Campbell and Jack Buller. Just having a little bit of a look now at the stats count. And, of course, as I was saying, Bailey Smith already up to 20. 12 kicks, 8 handballs, 5 marks, 3 tackles and 3 clearances. He's having a ring-a-ding-ding game. There we go. Next 5 are all from Sydney. Tom Papley on 14. Good to see him getting in and amongst it, getting a bit of the touch. I just need to get Tom Papley, get him a little bit of chest pumping, get a couple of goals, fire the team up. That's what Sydney need from Tom Papley. All right, Callum Mills on 12 with Peter Laddams and Nick the Lizard Blakey. Chad Warner on 11. No, exactly right. Just do some of your simple things. Not always the trick stuff. Peter Laddams, 12 disposals, 21 hitouts, 8 clearances. He's doing reasonably well, of course. Brodie Grundy is out of this Sydney team today. Tommy Stewart, Dempsey, Atkins, all on 11 there for the Catters. Let's roll on down. Eric Goulden on 10 there for Sydney, one of the stars there. Jeremy Cameron, I tell you what, they've done really well. Holding Jezza. He's had 9 disposals, 5 kicks, 4 handballs. He's had 5 marks, but he has not even troubled the scoreboard, not even with a behind so far. So doing a great job there, but of course, Shannon Neal doing the damage. Another one, being well held there, having a quiet game. Maxie Holmes there for Geelong. He had a couple of runs, but that's about it. I tell you what, Bailey Smith's doing the work today. Maxie Holmes normally on top. Up the top of the disposal count. He's only had 8 this afternoon. Need him to lift. Isaac Heaney on the 8. Looking reasonably good. Expect him to lift a little bit more in this game, of course. Paddy Dangerfield, there we go, just the 6. He looks ready to play after being rested last week. There we go. There are your player stats. Let's just roll on over and have a look at the team stats. And, of course, if everyone missed the game that was also played today, North Melbourne-Richmond. North Melbourne winning that game 135 to Richmond's 87. The other game at the moment being played, that's the Western Bulldogs and the West Coast Eagles. That is just about underway. No scores there at the moment. Sydney, though, they're plus 5. That's it. That's plus 5 because it's a tight game in disposal count overall. Inside 50s, both teams, 28 apiece. That's fantastic. All tied up. As I said, this is really tight, even, close game. Free kicks, I tell you what, there's not many being given out today. 5-2-3. Plus 2 to Sydney. Only 80 in total to half-time, so I love that when the umpires let them roll. Sydney, they're plus 3 in the hit-outs. clearances, though, they're +8. They're dominating out of the centre, which is surprising, very surprising through the Cats. Elite midfield. 10-4 in the centre clearances for Sydney, +2 around the stoppages. Contested, as I said, it's a pretty high contested game. It's a fantastic contested game. Sydney certainly will be happy. +11 there. Turnovers, well, that's not too bad, not too high. Uncontested, there we go. Not a great deal in that. 96-108. The marks, Cats, 53-30. Marks inside 50, though. Both teams hitting targets in there nicely. 8 apiece. Sydney well above their season average. But as you can see, Geelong normally find targets really, really well there. On 15.9 is their average. They're smack on that at 8, so they're doing really well. A bit stronger in the air are Geelong, 9-2 in the contested mark. Let's have a look at these tackle count. And this is a reasonably good tackle count for both sides. We like to see this 32-36. The tackle count is up and above their season average. So we like to see that. You've got to bring the pressure this time of year, certainly coming into the finals. Tackles inside 50. Both teams could probably put a little bit more pressure on there. Some of the smalls down there. Although Geelong has probably got a taller forward line there. Just a 1 tackle to Sydney inside 50. And 2 to the Cats inside 50. But that, folks, that is your stats up until half time. All right, we'll be back with the commentators not too far away, and then they're going to take us into the bounce of the ball for the second half.
10th. 11 wins, 10 losses, but can finish the season strong. This one, their last home game here at the SCG, and then the West Coast Eagles at Optus Stadium next Saturday night, their final game of the home and away season. The Cats have this one here, and then Richmond at the MCG. So we'll finish their preparation at the home of footy, the MCG. Get one last look at the MCG before the final start. Let's head downstairs to our man, Alistair Lynch.
And this man, Patrick Dangerfield, your mind's in the game. What was the assessment at halftime there?
Look, their pressure's been really good. There's some stuff we can fix up around the ball. But it's a game of contest. It always is against Sydney, so it's maximising our opportunities. It was a bit frenetic at times, so we want to play the game at our speed. But it's been a good half of footy.
And what are the adjustments around that stoppage situation?
They like to lag the ball around there, so I think it's squeezing that lag. You know, you don't want to give them free rein to chain the ball out because their mids are so potent.
Yeah, no worries. Well, thanks for your time. All the best in the second half.
Thanks,
Well
Richie.
done, mate.
Great to have Patrick Dangerfield with us, 20th all-time now on the AFL, VFL games, with game 356 coming back in off a rest. What are we going to get in the second half, gentlemen?
Well, it is interesting that Patrick Dangerfield was talking about clearance, John. I think it's in that second term, and the Cats were the better team by a fair way, but the Swans still dominated clearance at 17 to 10. So they're going to try and put the screws on that even further and try and limit them. And if you can take away their clearance game, well, then it's going to be all transition, and they certainly put the stops to that. They really upset the handball, a lot of turnovers, and they nailed some of the turnovers with goals.
I think centre bounce as well is where the Cats would like just to tighten up a little bit late in that second term. Swans got 2 out in a row. Errol Goulden gets 1 to McLean for a goal, and they had a couple in the first term as well. So I just think that's where the Cats can really have a good look at things. Reece Stanley, of course, up against Pete Laddams, and then once it hits the deck, how they actually control it. They're following in a little bit, obviously, with depending on the matchups that are happening in around the middle.
They've got to get over just Isaac Heaney getting him across the line. In that term, he was restricted to just 1 possession. Now, as much as he shows glimpses on a regular basis of being Superman, he's not. And if he's taken out of the game, others have got to step up inside that forward 50 and provide another avenue to goal. Hayward's one that really does need to lift. Papley's had plenty of touches. He's had a lot of touches, but he hasn't got on the scoreboard. And no doubt they've got the option of playing Heaney out of the goal square, which I think is a good one. Jeremy Cameron has been okay, but hasn't really dominated in front of the goals, hasn't put too much of a dent in that chase for the century.
O'Connor and Heaney straight back at it too.
So after it was level pegging at quarter time, Cats by 9 at half time, and we kick off the second half. Laddams v Stanley. Smith flicks it behind himself. Holmes attempted to push it forward. Eventually grabbed by Stewart. Guthrie, Smith. First foray inside 50 for the second half. No mark taken by Martin. Kick 2 already. That's barely the required trip, and they're going to pay it to Stengel.
Now the other end of the ground, Lynchy, Heaney has lined up in that goal square.
Yeah, the issue might be getting it to him, but yeah, that is an obvious change. This is going to be a tough shot here from going to kick just outside of 50. No breeze. The breeze has really dropped away now, so this should just sail straight.
Kicked one of the goals of the day in the first half. He's getting some feedback.
Technical advice, Matty.
So a set shot with a degree of difficulty of about 9.5. But don't worry about it.
He goes to the man. Look at him.
If that's the best way to say up yours, it's the best way to do it, straight through the middle.
Oh, yep, that's right. Shake your head, because you were telling him he can't kick it. Well, guess what? He can.
Good centre clearance. This is what we're talking about. Bailey Smith did really well. Got involved, probably a push in the back, but kept his feet, got involved, and then nailed a left foot. Let's have a look at it, transition once again. Good hands, and then just a dart. Should have been swallowed up, but Jack Martin, the wild card, Jono, gets involved in another goal, and that's on the back of some technical advice from the
I just love it.
over the boundary line.
Love it. We're seeing this a little bit.
Well, that's how appreciative he is.
Exactly. Players are being told close to the boundary line, nah, you're no chance. Yeah, well, yes, I am.
from the restart.
Two good centre clearances.
Stanley, it was touch, so Mark won't be paid, and Mills stood in the hole.
Yeah, pretty gutsy effort there by Mills, getting a bit of support from his teammates.
He's got that famous shoulder injury that he hurt in the off-season wrestle. He's had some other issues, including suspension. Hammered back out, Stanley. And he had some room to roam. And he blasts it. Goal square. They got 3. Lakey went up, couldn't mark it. Florent danced inside, found a little seam. Not sure what Lorber's trying to do. Bounce past it off his toes. But maybe that was the grand plan. Warner's kicked to Heaney, and they're away here, the Swans.
Oh, shit. Jono.
Oh, no 50 there.
Heaney, Lloyd, up the spine, straight to the square. McLean, no mark. Henry just had to try and control it. Goes back towards Stewart, and now a good tackle by Goulden over the top.
Should that have been 50, John?
Oh, there's a couple in there, Gerard, especially running through the protected zone as well. That should have been a high. Also, to Mullen, he should be going back having a kick at the moment.
So the umpire thought he dropped into that tackle, so he blamed him for it.
He still evade a tackle.
Heaney foraging for it. Smith goes in. Another stoppage.
A little bit of victim blaming at the moment, which is
here's your
interesting one. So this is the one.
Well, he's a couple of metres through, but then also there, 2 players around no one, just going right next to him through the protected zone. It's 50.
So there were 3 50s there, you reckon?
We'll give 2.
He should have been in the showgrounds. Centennial Park.
Anzac Parade.
No, I just wandered back into their facility, just on the other side of that grandstand there.
What a beautiful sight it is here at the SCG. Sun fading on a magnificent day. Shadows over the SCG, and Laddams palms it down. Heaney. Little handoff to Goulden. Gee, that's an expansive, aggressive kick. And it works. Mills picks it, spears it, and on the run. Good grab in front of O'Sullivan and Buller.
It was a risky kick. A high kick, and just kick and hope that the teammates get it done at ground level for Errol Goulden. McCartan coming across, nearly takes a big mark. It hits the deck and go anywhere. Swans have the numbers. Mills supports. Excellent kick inside 50. They hit this short one up really well this afternoon, the Swans.
So this is the one. This is the kick that he's had a little bit of trouble with. He might have sorted it out. He's faded, he's hooked, he's had his weight go back. Let's see how he does it this time.
Swans have owned the first part of the first 2 quarters. And there you go, Gerard. You've got some pull up here. You might have to have a chat to
the Mount.
Yes. The China shop.
Anyway, it's an opportunity for them gone missing. And the Cats just look like they're playing a bit closer to their best than the Swans at the moment.
Holmes just sears the grass to the arc, and then the kick towards Florence. Needs Rampy for assistance. Look at Danger working ferociously in there.
That's a good tackle from Wicks, who's had a great season. He was the big, one of the big experiments under Dean Cox as a small defender. He's done a darn good job.
So Wicks, and then he's coughed it up. Stengel snaffled it, stole it, runs to the arc, retreats, doesn't know who to kick it to, and then eventually Manor fills the spot. He wants to play on, then he slips over. He has to keep going, then he has to manufacture a check side and gets away with it with a goal. Well, he had to think on the run. That was clever. Sean Manor with the goal, and the Cats are out by 20.
Yeah, they're looking the dominant force at the present time, and once again, I mean, everybody that's playing on this ground, and this is the last one, so let's hope it doesn't happen again, but that slide, you've just got to know that you can't play your normal game, which is a bit of an embarrassment. I mean, we have slippery grounds and you deal with it, but
even Jack Martin, see Jack Martin slips.
Yeah, when he's slipping over like that.
It's new sport, synchronised slipping.
Worked one. He did well to get around, Malikan.
And to finish the way that he did as well. He's been in fine form, Sean Manor.
Yeah, pick 36 mature age recruit, 2023. They just keep finding him. The Cats, they found him in a VFL Grand Final for Werribee. He got best on ground, won the medal, kicking 6 goals in that game, Sean Manor. From the restart, Holmes a little tap. Sheldrick couldn't pluck it first time, second time, got it third. Row bottom, speculative handball. Myers knew where it was going. It's slick stuff at the moment. Gordon on hands and knees, feeds it up. Sheldrick gets it back. Now Rampy has some room to roam. Pops it towards Heaney. Got some hang time. Claimed he got tunnelled. He's asking, he's saying that's the second time up. How about it?
Yeah. Isaac Mark watching. Back here, guys.
Heaney and O'Connor.
Got dragged down.
Dragged the arm.
Had to be a free kick.
Will continue at each other. Sheldrick in the congestion. Came out. Wicks, Lloyd, pokes it inside 50. Heaney at the half volley. Jordan was there for assistance. Row bottom. Round the corner off a step towards the square, and then Dempsey back at the flight of the ball.
Yeah, he really lifted since quarter time, Dempsey. Getting down into defence to support. Running into the forward line to kick a goal. Or get a shot anyway.
He goes short to Jack Henry. He's played most of the year, 17th game for the season. Searching ball. Blakey flew high. Myers with the crumbs. Handball towards Stengel. He's worried out of it. And now through Jordan and co. The Swans massage it around half back and Melican.
Lloyd. Some poise. This is the Cats' biggest margin of the game. 20 points. Swans led by 20 points in the opening term, their biggest margin. Row bottom steeds the pack out through the hands of Detoli. Humphreys kept that alive according to the umpire. Still alive, DeConing. Henry, Lloyd. To go central. Cunningham. Gordon's in good hands here. But he does thump it and hope. Henry can't get the big fly. The fists come. It's a mark if he catches it second time. That's a team grab. That's a team mark between O'Connor and Dakota.
You don't often see this. Ball behind the back.
Blitzarves just
That's a throw.
trying to Fossick it out. Yeah, threw it out.
Gave the umpire no chance to interpret that other than a throw.
Tom Papley was asking for it. The umpire was awake to it. No. Pete Laddams with the free kick here. He was one over the top.
So he's kicked kick one. He's going for his second here, Pete Laddams. And if they're going to be a factor, they've got 12 minutes to play in the third term. They're 20 behind. They need to start making some inroads. Laddams comes in from 40, and it's straight. He likes it. Big celebration. Back to 14.
Well, he's done a good job. He's filling the boots of a likely All-Australian, Brodie Grundy. Certainly going to be in the squad. Whether he's in the team will be depending on what the selectors do by way of structure. Pretty lucky there, Papley, not to be pinged himself for just getting rid of the ball. But a good effort by Laddams. He's kicked a couple of goals, and there's been a good battle between him and the Cats.
It has. You say the Cats because it's a couple of sort of flow through there. Stanley and Blitzarves have plenty of turns at it for the Cats. You see, flicks it up just high enough.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is right. You just got to whack it. You can't scoop it.
That's right.
Brodie Grundy out with concussion, so hopefully he will be back for that final game against the Eagles next week. McLean into the rack, down a row bottom, and they're away. Turns and tumbles it. Tough one to mark, and Henry could collect millimetres from the deck.
Go with him, Will. Stay out.
Jack, eyes are darting. Jack goes back.
Stewart Called to play on De Koning. Long one. Down to the wing. That's a good mark in isolation, Martin. It's played well. Inboard. Myers as the Cats continue to build. Guthrie. This time down the middle. Straight towards the top of the square, and Neil falls to Dangerfield. Round the corner, he won't miss this. He's done it many, many, many times before. Patrick Dangerfield kicks his 360th goal.
That was a super build-up by the Cats. Started in defensive 50 when Jack Henry took the mark when Swans came out of centre bounce. That's where it all sort of starts. They end up getting the ball into this position in the middle of the ground, and it's just contest work, but it's strong contest by the Cats. Shannon Neal Mills comes over the top to support it, can't get it away, and but Danger's there, but they've got players all around this contest, the Cats. So wherever the spoil went, they were going to be able to compete, and it goes to their best.
Yeah, Tom Martin was, McCartan, I should say, was ball watching at Dangerfield, who finished up in a better position, couldn't nail him.
So back to 20 points. McLean, Stanley. Warner hit the deck. Little toe from Heaney. Warner. So the two guns get them forward, but Henry stands under it.
Great mark.
Stand, Angus. Stand.
And here they go again. O'Connor had to go and get. Caught from behind, got a handball away. Atkins heads wider. Holmes.
There's a couple of Swans whose tackles just haven't landed that have cost them goals.
So the man on the mark on a strange angle. He goes
crazy
with the pass to Dangerfield, and this kick for the biggest margin of the game to either team. Both teams have had 20-point leads, but not beyond that. There is Chris Scott. Not sure what he's doing to make go downstairs.
Cup of tea.
15th season as coach for the two-time premiership coach Chris Scott, two-time premiership player as well. Geelong's only missed the finals twice in his 15 seasons. It'll be 13 of 15, and I mentioned Patrick Dangerfield will give the Cats the biggest margin of the game. He doesn't. It's still 20.
Yeah, looking for extra length. He goes out to the right, swivels the hips. At some stage, Jono, we're going to teach players to run on a bit of an angle and use their hips rather than run straight, kick straight. If you're built like Plugger or the Chief, then that's fine. But if you haven't got that power, subconsciously we have always gone around the corner.
Less than 10 to play, third term. Mills in some space. Long ball towards half forwards. Rowbottom just caught a couple of steps behind De Koning, who had first access to it. Eventually, it stacks on.
Well, it's now or never for Sydney, because Geelong look like they're getting better as this game goes on. They've got Heaney, they've got Gould, and they've got this bloke well and truly in control. Atkins has done a great job on Warner today.
O'Connor scrambled to kick back in towards the middle. Picked up by McCartan. Blitzarves grabbed him.
We haven't seen the Lizard on the loose for since the first 15 to 20 minutes, so all their playmakers, their generators, have been stifled.
Oh, the Ruckman had a run at it. Both claimed they deserved the free, and Dangerfield pulled that up because he didn't really know if it was Stanley's ball or not. Otherwise, he could have had a shot. Stanley spears over the heads of a couple, and Florent read it well. Caught, got a handball away. Long handball to Warner. Atkins went and got it. Back again, here's Danger. Floats it wide over the head of Dempsey. He's got the skills, this kid. Heads going. He's a gun.
Brilliant goal, but a magnificent turnaround and handball from Atkins, Jono.
It is from Atkins, and he's a gun, but the man who gets it over to him is an out-and-out superstar in Patrick Dangerfield. Impact today. It's been an impact game from Danger, involved in 3 direct goal assists now. What a finish.
I'm going with Atkins, Jono.
Yeah, the Atkins handball. It's a good handball. It is good.
It's a good finish, by the way. So inside, they've lifted the Cats. And they're right on top.
And that's enough for
Okay, here we go.
Cleary's into the game, and Detoli's been subbed out.
Yeah, it just doesn't look quite ready at the level yet, Detoli.
Big summer running for Detoli.
That's what he needs.
Played his third game today, so Caden Cleary subbed on. Warner with the football. Lloyd flicks it back. Sheldrick into Wicks.
Outside five. Outside five.
So we're having an amble. It's McCartan towards Goulden.
Play on.
Into the middle.
Play on.
Mills.
Play on.
Pat with it, Cunningham, who's got to be fast towards the top of the square. And too good on that occasion.
Enormous chase from Shannon Neal. That was Shannon Neal. He was their biggest cat, and he charged out. Didn't give up the chase on Cunningham. Affects the kick. Turnover.
O'Sullivan spreading it wide. Cats looked to have the numbers. Ladham knew it and fists it out.
And Cunningham thought he had the space. Harry Cunningham doesn't get a Brownlow vote this year. He'll be the all-time AFL, VFL leader for games without a Brownlow vote. He's in game 218. If he gets one this year, the honour will go to Taylor Duray, who's on the Dogs list at the moment. Unless Taylor Duray gets one, of course. Ball towards Neal. Falls. Flex. McCartan picked their pocket and found the target wide. Chad Warner. He can turn Sydney's fortunes around on a blink. Chad Warner, if he starts to get control. Sheldrick was slung 720. Sometimes that's enough. Umpire says no. Atkins goes. He pumps it. Will Blitzards get there? He did.
It's a great kick.
That's an amazing kick. He's a tackle machine, Atkins. He's a handball guy normally. That's the normal Atkins diet for you, Gerard. But you're loving his work today.
Yes, Wayne. Got my diets mixed up. Is that the word? It's just all protein, the Atkins, for memory. And he's chewed up a few muscles today.
Mark Blitzards become one of those 300-game Cats. Next year, he's been a superstar, game 291. Only 6 players have ever played 300-plus for the Cats, and he's close to becoming their 7th.
He's one of the most flexible players the game's ever seen. Roosie was one of those. Paul Roosie, he could go full back, centre half back, full forward, playing the wing. Not sure he ever went to the ruck, but he interchanged with Matty Rendell a few times. He did he, Lynchy?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I think he'd send me in. If we come down to that argument, he'd be telling me to go in.
So the Swannies not completely cooked yet, but they're not really in it either at the moment. As close up against the boundary line, gets pushed. Is it going to go upfield? It should.
During the keeping action,
Brad, over your mark. Time back on, stand.
So close. Cameron's got 2 around him. Can he find a bit of isolation? No, he can't. So he kicks it towards the pocket. And a swag of Swans makes sure it goes over.
Well, when you consider the Swans jumped out of the gates, had 3 goals on the board before the Cats had ever scored one. It's been pretty much a one-way street so far since then.
Stanley. Smith in the congestion. And Stengel trying to barge through. The umpire was right on the spot.
Back it out here, guys. Left to right.
So tied up against the boundary. And that's exactly where the ball's going to go, G.
Lynchy getting some feedback from Hawaii that Emily Roosie may well have played in the ruck against Jim Steins one day.
I think he sent the same message through to me. I reckon in Gary Pert's first game against Fitzroy, I reckon Roosie was playing against Collingwood in the ruck there, one at the last bounce as well.
Myers just was able to scrounge a kick. And there's the first involvement from Cleary for the Swans. Bobbled out to McLean. He's kicked a couple of goals today. That's a raking sort of a kick towards Buller. They just keep belting it forward, just progressing metres, but there's no one home inside 50. So Sullivan can just amble and gets it out to Martin. Feels like the end of the match the way it's spreading here at the moment. There's just no zing in it at all.
Totally in control, the Cats, and the Swans have lost their hunger.
Might be coincidence, but they've done this late in both the first couple of quarters. The Cats could have slowed down possession footy. Meticulous with their ball use. Guthrie. And there's Tolley back row. Pump wide, lead on. Stanley can't mark it. Close crumbs it into space. Neal inside. Turned it over. Mills. Cleary gets a chance to set it up again. McCartan caught from behind. Got it away. McLean. Cleary. Second involvement in this string to Warner. Swept wide. This is handball chain footy. The Swans love to play when they're on. Melican inside. Back to Cleary. Third possession in this string of play. Not a big goal kicker. Kicked 1 goal 8 this season. 310 career. Sits it up for Tom Stewart to do some Tom Stewart kind of stuff.
A little bit hesitant, but courtesy of Henry and Holmes, they leave defensive 50. Swans seat 1A here, and they don't mark it. Blitzarves and Stengel just flicked it back towards Blitzarves and eventually wrapped up the big man. Tolley, first round selection in the 2024 draft, and sits out the rest of the match here. Golden, Florent, Haywood, kick towards Heaney. It's in his spot. Does he get a free kick? He doesn't. Crowd thought he deserved one. O'Connor is going to retreat.
Big deep breath from Isaac Heaney, biting his tongue. Thought he was pushed in the back.
Myers with it at halfback.
It's just controlled for the Cats. They've been doing this now for 2.5 minutes.
Smith down the line to Dangerfield, so thumped out of play. It's been an interesting game from Bailey Smith. He's an all-Australian certainty as we see this push to the back of Heaney. Hand on the number. Yeah, Bailey Smith, all-Australian certainty, but he might need another 3 or go to a game or 2 to grab himself a Brownlow this year. He's definitely in contention with a few of them from that scramble. He's had a pretty good day at the office, numbers-wise at least, with 24 for the game so far.
Adams attempted to get it to Goulden, then Mullen. Handball and Hope, grabbed by Florent. Warner finding a bit of room. Hits up Haywood. Haywood looks further afield, just gives Hapley a little bit of room to move in.
Yeah.
Got the contact from Henry.
He was looking for the contact, didn't he, Jared?
Yeah, spot on, Jared. He certainly did.
Yeah.
He's actually hurt himself. Unless he's spent just from running, he's taking a good breath here, but he went searching for it. Didn't need to.
There's no point doing this. That's just good, solid football.
Yeah.
Happily wanted to engage and came off second best.
So they need a spark, the Swans. They trail by 27, and Geelong have been like a cat with some wool, just playing with them for the last 5 or 10 minutes. This man, to try and kick his 300th goal in AFL competition and trying to find that extra metre or 2, he shanks it to the left.
Holmes, will he get it and go here? He'll play his 100th in week 1 of the finals. He's out wide. Blakey. Inside kick is good to Heaney. Finally gets it. Turns. Little shake off and a spin to Haywood, who went for the gully catch. Couldn't pluck it. Campbell does, and he's within range. Needs to go back and just kick it.
Yeah,
he can kick this at post height.
You see all the numbers back for the Cats. Needs to get over the top now.
He just sets it up.
It's a poor kick.
Sets it up for Stewart to take a screamer.
Really ordinary kick. So many Cats back there. We could all see it. Unfortunately, he couldn't for some reason. So you either launch it. He half kicked that and got it to 10 metres out.
And it was with an element of ease as well. He could have just barreled that through. He's got such a good kick on him. Dangerfield.
Speaking of danger, when you look at this Cats forward line, like inside the arc, I know Danger's down the ground now, but you've got Cameron, you've got Super Boot, you've got Dangerfield. I mean, you build your game around them, and they've got three rippers, all Australian on screen, at their feet. Myers, all Australian squad, has been even better since he's gone up the ground.
Manners' improvement as well this year has been significant for the Cats in that run. Close is just consistent as a player.
And there's one win for the Swans. James has done a pretty good job on Max Holmes.
Stanley hoping for Atkins, has to go himself on hands and knees and in and under. And just kick and hope off the boot of Golden, finds Henry, and we're within 40 seconds of the end of the third quarter.
Holmes, who opens it up to the Koning. Danger. O'Connor put his head down and he's gone. And he lets him know. He's been waiting all afternoon for that. Isaac. He's been wearing him like a glove. Has O'Connor.
High contact. Yep, high contact. High contact. High contact to Geelong.
High contact to Geelong.
Yeah, Heaney got him in the face with his arm, with his hand. So that one umpire's overruled the other.
Wow, that is massive. He must feel like the world's been against him today, Isaac Heaney. The umpires are certainly against him there. Always a tricky one, the overturn, the overrule. And now the Cats can mop up the remaining seconds to three-quarter time. Listen to the boos. And he's letting him know, Isaac.
Been an interesting weekend for the umpires.
Been an interesting year. Spot on for the umpires. Speaking of which, it's been a very interesting year of football in general, and can't wait to see who gets the big awards this season. All Australian, Brownlow medal. There'll be a few contenders in these two teams. Cats at the moment by 26 points at three-quarter time. A big final term to come your way, but all the action and all the big award shows on Fox Footy.
It's three-quarter time and the Sydney Swans trail the Geelong Cats by 26 points. And the Cats, after a slow start, conceding the first 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of the first term, have bounced back. And it's been on the back of their class players across half-back, and their ability to score from intercepts has been the major difference. We have a look at the situation from intercepts over the course of the day. 9 goals for Geelong, and it's 5 goals won from forward half intercepts and 4 goals 2 from the defensive half. And it's been the likes of Henry with 9 intercepts, Stewart 6, O'Sullivan's had 5 himself, and Sam De Koning with the 5 also. So Jared and Swans, the Geelong Footy Club, look like they're in control at this stage.
Oh, absolutely. They have turned it around after a fast start. They're really impressed with what's going on up in the forward line. Shannon Neal has been absolutely superb. But we did speak about the original Super Boot. For those who are under 40, this is a bloke called Bernie Quinlan, a.k.a. Super Boot, who just nailed a torpedo from inside the square. And then going back, that black stuff, by the way, is mud, and nailed another. Look at 65-metre drop.
That was his 100th.
He is the original, but here comes Super Boot number 2.
So you've Shannon Neal, the Wiggles Web and the Orange Tsunami. You've now named Shannon Neal the new Super Boot. I love it.
Looks like it. He kicked 817 goals, so he's got a fair way to go, Shannon.
Geelong by 26 as we kick off the final quarter. Stanley wins that one emphatically. Off the ground, Atkins overruns it. Manor gets a second crack at it, tackling Blakey. Warner, he's grabbed. Dempsey's hovering. Cleary grabbed, ball it up. Lights taking full effect at the SCG. Late Sunday twilight. Laddam's down only as far as Manor. Round the corner, bouncing ball. Could create problems. Martin at the front, blazing through. Dangerfield to Stengel. Good night. Stengel kicks his third.
It's brilliant get and go from Paddy Dangerfield, who isn't as young as he used to be, but he hasn't lost his ballistic speed. Another really good clearance by the Cats. And here he comes through, just still running as hard with his hands trailing along the ground as if he was upright. It's a brilliant skill. Read it best. Bang. Through he goes. Instinctive handball to his teammate. That is all class.
Yeah, ball really gets behind Patrick Dangerfield. See, even they're coming through with the class that he's got.
Shannon Neal in front. Could have got paid a penalty for grabbing without the ball, but too good at ground level.
You might have heard a roar while that replay was going on, and that was because the cameras panned onto John Longmire in the grandstand. The Swans supporters were pretty happy to see him sitting alongside his old teammate John Blakey.
Nice work, Lynchy. Atkins stumps it long. The Cats have put the hammer down. Neal can't mark it. Cameron's due to get himself a goal. Hasn't joined the party. McCartan floats it out and not picked off by Stewart this time. He really drops those. Happily, Heaney, Goulden. Here goes the Lizard. Cleary gets a moment, but he had to reach and go. Tried to keep his feet. O'Connor, quickly wrapped up, ball up.
Yeah, if you're going to play the hands game, you've got to hit the targets. And to me, that was a Cleary issue more so than a Blakey issue. Should have been able to handle that ball.
Hot football for Blakey to try and control, and then was wrapped up with Manor over the top of Lloyd. So another throw up. Laddams. Smith had it momentarily. Now Lloyd just throws it on the boot with a raking kick for a behind.
Blue dot.
So it's Geelong by 31 points, and the Swans urgently needing a couple of goals to try and give themselves some sort of a sniff.
Cats came into this game with the second best percentage in the comp, 140. The Crows have got 141. The Cats win this game. They'll be second on the ladder tonight. Flyers go up on the wing. Martin caught high. Cats can finish strongly next week as well with Richmond at the MCG. Doesn't really matter between top and second. It'll be home finals for both. Smith pounces, opens it up, and floats. Flyers go. Dempsey was the man at the back. He's clever. Mesmerised a few of them. Feeds the handball back. Blitzarves.
Probably competing against themselves a number of times, the Geelong forwards.
So Blakey.
Great kick.
He's
going left. He normally goes right.
He went up the middle that time. Warner working with Cleary, and then Warner. So 3 kicks straight down the guts and straight down the throat of Papley.
I had to take the game on, had to set it up to do it, and they did it perfectly. From kick out with Blakey to Warner, gets the 1-2 happening with Cleary, just a slow handball, has to get it back after a fumble. But then once again, they've hit up this lead 4 or 5 times this afternoon with great effect.
So Papley looking for his 300th goal in AFL. That's a big-looking kick. That's a barrel. Is that just the little spark that the Sydney Swans need?
Well, it's a huge passage of play to the Swans, and you're right, it could ignite something. Congratulations to Papley, 300 goals. It's a great achievement. Still plenty more to come from the young champ.
See him running out to the left, but it's coming straight down the middle. Hooks it to the right. Then a little bit of sloppiness, but that kick was spot on. I mean, Tom Stewart had no chance of stopping that.
Ton of time left in this. They've got some weapons, the Swans. Tom Papley's had that tough season, just his 10th game of the year, hamstring and ankle problems. The Energizer Bunny is the kind of guy who can fire them up. Good bounce to restart it on the pitch. Smith hammers it straight back the other way. Neil at the back. Might still get it. About to pounce. Does get it. Feeds the handball out into some space. Manor. The fend. He's cooked. Rampy wrapped him.
Let it go. Come back on. Outside 5.
They did well there to stop that one, Sydney, given that they were coming out the front of the stoppage.
So Florent out to Cunningham. Next kick. And O'Sullivan bearing down on it, and eventually he wins the football. Got it from Dempsey. Mr. Unflappable kicks it to Manor, and then Manor just pokes it to a vacant goal square. It was too easy in the end for the Cats. You can almost put that goal down to O'Sullivan, who won the football on the wing, and Manor's kicked his second.
Well, O'Sullivan is an unbelievably good young player. He's huge too. I saw him up against Buller before, and he was towering above him, but the kick was never on.
Where's the chase? Where's the serious chase from Sydney on that occasion? He waltzed between 5 of them.
Yeah.
It's just way too easy. Comes up, makes the ball, fair enough, then gets the handball received. But who's closing up? Who's putting the forward pressure on the kicker? No chase from behind. Space everywhere. Easy for Manor.
So is that a team that's 10th? 11 wins, and no, they can't make the 8.
Yeah,
Swans.
possibly. But still, there's futures on the line at this stage of the career.
They knew that last week too, Wayne, when they rolled over the Brisbane Lions. After the start, it's been really disappointing. In fact, if it was mid-season, they'd be off to Coogee again.
Very close. He pops it. Look at this. Dangerfield lace out with a ribbon on it. And Danger made a bit of a statement again today. He's had an amazing season again, but they've played the player management game well, the Cats, this year. They've rested Dangerfield a couple of times. They've still got 8 guys who've played every game. They've managed his body to the point where they haven't waited for him to tear something. If he felt tightness, they gave him a couple of weeks off mid-year. plenty on it, but to the near side.
Just a miss, but 4 direct goal assists today for Patrick Dangerfield, which has been fantastic. Best in 25 is Bont with 6, so it's been a classy display by the champ.
So Blakey in the Buller direction. Hayward in a tight spot. Eventually Campbell puts the handball out, and then Buller wasn't expecting it. No communication there, and then Humphreys happy to walk it out.
And Jono and Jared, I'll get you to put your coach's hat on. Dwayne mentioned player management. You've got Jack Bowes as the sub for Geelong. Do you look at saying the danger, we've seen enough, have a spell, or which player do you give a rest?
I reckon Cameron's letting them know he's only playing in second gear at the present time. You might as well get him, put the clutch in completely and get him off the ground.
Yeah, you would think the way they manage it. And he's up and about, Jack Bowes. He hasn't got the trackie off yet, so they haven't made that move. But you'd think one of the experienced players will come out shortly.
Well, they got Cam Guthrie and Mitch Duncan playing the twos this weekend, so a bit of selection pressure out there as well.
Blitzarves does the ruck work in the meantime. Hack kick forward for the Swans. Cleary went in. Some fresh legs there for the Swans, but out of play.
He was going about 30% harder than anybody else at that footy. He's got his whole career in front of him. He wants to stay in the side for next week.
Adams at the back, just bunts it down to Golden, working hard as always, and just nudged off the kick and out.
Same again.
Connor in and under. Blitzarve scooped it out. Mills grabbed by Dempsey and Manor, and another ball up.
Keep going to the Cats bench, but Bowes is hiding behind the pole. He doesn't look like coming onto the ground in this game.
Andrew Mackie, they're not bringing him on. But they could.
No, they're not bringing him on. He looks fit, actually. If Jack Bowes old school, you'd be out the front of the dugout doing star jumps, ready to go.
Connor driven into the ground, gets the free kick, and then Holmes skies one towards the forward line. Blakey set himself, and then the diffusing fist from the 100-game American, the two landmark players both involved in that passage of play. Here's this tackle from Heaney.
Of course, it's a week off between the end of the home and away and the finals as well, so the Cats can get some rest into some, but they might not want to rest them next week because it'll be a double week rest. Chris Scott, 15th season as coach. It'll be 13 of the 15 seasons he's coached them into finals. An amazing record. He's got a 68% winning record, the best record of any coach to have coached 300-plus games, Chris Scott. And he set them up perfectly again here. Stengel tries to feed it out. Dangerfield funnels it through. Dempsey, little dance step, fling over his head. McCartan rolls it outside, defensive 50. Mullen has been with Gordon all afternoon. He might go home this evening with him. He's worn him that well. Henry feeds the handball further on. Wicks wrapped up, going nowhere.
And you mentioned those couple of players that played in the twos. Mitch Duncan at 21 and kicked the goal. And who else were we talking about? Cam Guthrie. Yeah, he had 9 touches. When I was watching, he was spent plenty of time on the bench, so it might have been managed minutes.
He's been out a long time, Cam Guthrie. So hopefully he gets back, Dwayne, and gets some footy under his belt before the end of the season.
Mitch Duncan's been sub in a grand final before.
Yep.
Smith was hoping for Atkins. Bit of company there, though. Golden, ramping, bit of cat and mouse. There's that little battle. Wicks, now he's in a bind. Dempsey eventually grabbing him. Geelong in the football. Great fun to watch Ollie Dempsey kick that one goal.
There's good team pressure. Atkins and Dempsey just worked in tandem.
Now the long kick, Dangerfield sent himself from the side with the big fly. Mills's handball was smothered. Lloyd was grabbed, driven into the turf as well. And gets pinged for holding the ball. So Stengel, well, he's kicked 3. One set shot from outside 50. A brilliant snap goal in the pocket.
Well, he's getting some more feedback. Last time he got that, he kicked an absolute ripper. So we'll see what happens here.
I'd be very careful giving this man feedback.
That's it. He's having a word to the crowd now. Here we go.
Eunuchs in a harem, critics. They're there every night. They can't do it themselves. He's in the drip tray at the moment. Stengel comes in to the pocket, and eventually that hit the point post. It did. It's going to be a throw in.
Takes it in good spirit.
Yeah, 1-1 this afternoon.
You can always point at the scoreboard. That used to be the old school.
Yes.
Yeah. You can see what it reads up there. At the moment, it reads 94 to 61. Manor caught, dropped it. Dangerfield still working hard, and the umpire's going to say, "I'll fling it back in," and still Jack Bowes waits. There's been a few times where there's been unused subs this year. We think the subs going the way of the Dodo. We think the sub will be dumped at the end of this season by the AFL and just have 5 on the interchange. Watch that as Neil hunts the Sharon down, but might be a few rule changes like that. Dangerfield holds it in. He got a kick away. Neil, Manor, and it's through for another behind, which means James Jordan will have the honour of being either the luckiest or unluckiest premiership player in history, the unused sub in Melbourne's grand final win. It's a bit like Michael Collins. He went to the moon, didn't get to walk on it. But he's still a premiership player.
Mills. Oh, it was an aggressive kick. It was not really on. And Martin has stolen it. And then he zips it forward to Manor. 2 goals for this man today. He's played well. 17 disposals, 13 kicks and 4 handballs. And he's confidently trekking back towards the middle to have a ping at goal. So that's his assignment. Kicking into a marginal breeze. Gives it everything. An absolute hoist. 3 goals for Sean Manor, and that was a beauty.
Well, he's been a beauty for all year, but the last month in particular. Round 19, 24 disposals and 3 goals for Sean Manor. Round 20, just had the 19 disposals. Set Jeremy Cameron up a few times. Round 21, 26, finding plenty of ball up high for the catch. You spoke about that earlier in the game, Jared. And then round 22 gets the 3 goals again. And today, 3 goals this afternoon, or this early evening now for Sean Manor.
And there's that percentage. So the Cats are building it. There's still a game, obviously. This is the live ladder behind Adelaide. Top 2 doesn't really matter, first or second, although top spot normally gets you the Friday night prelim, but they could still be a chance for top spot. 140.7 to 141. You can do the math if you like. They're not far away. Probably a goal away. Dempsey thumps it long. Kneels into spot. Blakey got there with the fist. Everyone around it. And Myers bangs it home for that goal. He's got a couple.
It's a good goal. Centre bounce, Crum, round the corner. And they are just giving the Swans a nice old pacing right now. This bloke off the wing has been really good. And we'll get to the centre. Off the ground, goes round the corner and a goal. Really pushed down hard. Unmanned up. And nailed it. So back-to-back goals. John, I was really interested to watch Sean Manor from behind. We see a lot of guys trying to get extra length, and the last 2 or 3 metres, they sort of go off the line, and there's nothing controlled about it. He had a nice straight run on an angle, knowing he was going to kick around the body slightly, but it was controlled and it was repeatable. When you think about world sport, we're the only sport in the world that tells people to run straight, kick straight. Everyone else goes round corners.
From length, though, from distance, from outside, sort of that 50, 45, 50 range, and depending on the individual player.
I mean, if you've got a big backside and a big thigh, of course you can run straight. But most people like to generate speed by releasing the hip.
It's the great number 16, Billy Brownless. Crowd cheer, he's always the actor, Billy.
That's the lizard masks that have been given out today as well.
Having a frothy, as he would say.
What a superstar he was as a person and as a footballer. And still is.
Mills, Wicks, eventually back to Mills. And a spirally ball grabbed by De Koning. We're into the final 9 minutes. O'Sullivan, hasn't he been a revelation?
He's been a beauty. Geez, you could pick one of him up each and every year, you'd be happy.
Myers, 2 goals today, 14 touches. Stewart, 18 touches. Back to Myers. A little probing ball to Atkins. Back to Myers, who continues to run it out. That little chip was surgical.
It's a training run by Humphries. Dead set training run in defence for the Swans. And the Cats are just licking the cream. He's been terrific. He'll get coaches' votes, Atkins. He's done a great job, been terrific.
Lawson Humphries debuted in round 16, 2023. 11 appearances last year. He's kicked 4 goals this season. Having a crack here right from the arc, and it's going to just prop up right in the square. And that's gone through for a behind. Jack Martin was hoping for his third at close range. Blakey brings it back in.
It's fit for Jack Bowe. Sydney to Surf was last week.
Wide ball. It's going to be an interesting watch now. Stewart thumps it toward the man wearing Billy's old 16, De Koning. Stewart all the way back to O'Sullivan. That rising star vote is going to be tricky. Levi Ashcroft, Murphy Reid, Dan Curtin, Archie Roberts, Connor O'Sullivan. There's probably a few fans screaming at their TV, what about our guy? Because there has been quite a few this year who've put their hand up. Mentioned the Cats play Richmond next week at the MCG. Adelaide, North Melbourne at Marvel. So on that score, you'd expect both teams to win their games, but if the Adelaide Crows were to drop it, the Cats would have a better percentage as it stands now than the Adelaide Crows, with Richmond to come next week. And it comes down to that last week and a bit with the Gold Coast Essendon game as they fly. That's the extra game that has to be played. Holmes hammers it. Bouncing ball in space. Close, goes and gets Stengel. Can he manufacture something else? A skip bounce would do. A roll. He got it off the padding. A little too thick, that padding.
Geez, the creativity of the brain, though, was magnificent. Even to think about it was superb.
Talking about the rising star, of course, that's on Brownlow night. There's a man who has won one. Who do you think is going to win the Brownlow medal? As Stewart sends it long straight back down to Blakey.
The captain of the Crows is a genuine chance. Jordan Dawson.
Cleary out to Campbell. Fast runner to Buller. As Gerard has donned him the mount. Mills. Rampy. 32 touches 3 times this year. Rampy. He's only had 12 today. Florent. Row bottom.
There's no movement, is there, inside forward 50 for Sydney, they're just walking, just kick it long, hope for the best.
And that's exactly what Rowbottom's going to do. Can someone pluck it? Buller's at the back. He picks it up. And he was, well, I think he was trying to handball it to Papley, but in the end he's handballed it through for a behind.
Hello. Here we go. This is going to save him about 4 laps of the quadrangle of the square.
Is that Mark O'Connor's number she's holding up?
Yep.
42.
He's done his job.
Is 5:08 on the clock enough to sustain that?
Yeah. Jared's been famously... How many laps of Centennial Park have you done, Jared, over time?
Few hundred.
Yeah, you can take him after this game if you like. Martin heads wide. Patrick Dangerfield's relaxed. He's got the legs crossed. Again, no Sivlaki just yet, but maybe that's to come. Manor inside to Stanley. And, well, he's already a premiership hero. Trying to get a second flag added to his resume, but longevity, and it looks like Jack Henry's the man who's been subbed out, even though it was Connors 42 that was held up. But Stanley's in game 227 now. He has proven through longevity and consistency how valuable that can be. Don't have to have the best ruck in the competition, but you've got a good one who can compete for you day in, day out, and that's what he's done against some of the all-time best. Blakey flies, no mark. Neil wobbles at home for a behind to add to his tally.
So Blakey pinpoints Mills. Wicks steaming through to steal it. Stewart.
Just too easily read. I mean, there's a lot of trick shots been tried by the Swans today, and they just haven't worked. The really professional defence has unravelled it.
Big kick towards Neil, couldn't mark it. Stengel uses his body on Rowbottom crudely, and Sydney get a free kick. 24 touches for Stewart today, 19 kicks, 5 handballs.
Not sure what the argument from Tyson was there, Jono, but he was making it emphatically.
Rowbottom. Long one towards the wing. McLean wrestling with Guthrie. McLean gets the free kick and advantage. So away they go. Papley. He's kicked the one. Hesitates. And draws a 50.
Myers got too close. I don't think it was Sullivan's movement.
So, the live wire, that is Tom Papley. You just don't know what to expect. He's an excitement machine, a jackrabbit, and through it goes. So he kicks 2.
No, it's a pretty impressive score, despite the fact that Papley's just nailed one. When you look at these two sides, they were both at the top of the ladder last year. One went on to play in the grand final, and one was just beaten. And there it is, Myers going through, and which makes your point about earlier in the game.
That's right.
When there were 3. There was an army of Geelong blokes walked past Heaney, and they weren't paid.
I think if he kept running, he might have been okay from what they adjudicate, because he's right next to Goulden, but he kind of comes back to...
Well, Jack Bowes gets involved as well, just to make certain of it.
So Jack Bowes will be negative in the Champions race.
If they credit him with that.
Here we go. There's the ladder and there's the percentage. Again, that goal for the Swans pushes Geelong's percentage down below Adelaide's. They were above them for a couple of minutes, even though they are second on the ladder. Cats with Richmond next week, Adelaide with North Melbourne. Warner gets under that a little. And there's
O'Sheen
Mullen hold by Goulden. Hasn't been a good day for the Lizards.
Started well, the Lizard.
They did, but
faded out.
He hasn't been able to drop his tail today. Unfortunately, Nick Blakey been making sure he hasn't been able to get the runners out of the congestion, as Rowbottom tried to do it there.
Imagine what the stadium looked like if he gets to 300 games.
Yes. Not sure you'd convince everybody to dress like that, Jono, but
at 300, especially if they've done well and he's won another flag or something, you never know.
Adams and Sheldrick working together. Heaney flicks it out. Rowbottom ducked into that. And Smith appealed for holding the ball, and Bowes gets it. Kick towards forward 50 for the Cats. No Mark Neal. Stengel still fighting for it. Wicks flicks it out to Rowbottom. In fact, it's Rampy. Then Rampy on a dime. Just an up and under. Marked by Rowbottom. Ellie Smith just having a few words to himself, I think. So a minute and a half to go as Wicks is going to send it long this time. Sullivan at the back, bent the fist. That's a good and strong mark by McLean. He's done some good things today. 2 goals. He's had 8 disposals, 6 marks. Lloyd spreads it out to McCartan. So with a minute to play, question for our experts: can Geelong win it?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. As I said, this time last year they were hot, and that game at the MCG at night where they just lost to Brisbane Lions, but I think it was a kick or one clearance if you want to really break it down, had them potentially playing Sydney in the grand final.
Oh, they're settled everywhere now. You look at their key backs playing good football again. Jack Henry's been amazing. Then through the midfield where they've got some star players, and then forward of centre.
Yeah,
the strength now and how hot they are. Of course, they're a big chance of winning it.
So Scott marches down to the ground. Job has been completed. Golden with the ball on the wing. A crowd of 37,656 at the SCG. Cameron with the football. Is this goal number 80? Not quite, but the siren sounds. They've got it done, the Cats. They win by 43 points and sit second on the ladder as they go to bed tonight.
Yeah, it was a mighty performance by the Cats. After a strong start by Sydney, they fell right away, and Geelong just unravelled and really curtailed the strengths of Sydney. They had no second division, no other answer to the dominance of Heaney. And the Cats just powered away with a magnificent team performance with their strengths on display right around the ground. And when you consider that Jeremy Cameron did play a significant part in it, it's a really impressive win. Lynchy.
Thanks, Jared. With Tom Atkins. Tommy, you'd be pretty happy with that win in the end.
Yeah, it was great. We knew they were going to come out pretty fired up. They would have been keen to ruin our season, I reckon. And we answered definitely after half-time. Thought we were great.
And what were the adjustments you made? They put 3 on you pretty quick, and there was that transition game from defensive 50 that seemed to leave you open.
Yeah, I think they were pretty... we knew coming in they were going to be pretty strong on the outside. So I think maybe bring it back into a contest, trying to keep the ball in tight and then using our strength to try and surge the footy forwards. I think that helped us.
And if you're going to be in any trouble against the Sydney Swans, it's going to be the likes of Heaney and Warner. Tell us a little bit about your role and what you're focused on.
I had absolutely nothing to do with Heaney and Goulden today. That was all Osh and Mez. I thought Mez was amazing on Heaney. Like, he's one of the best attacking midfielders in the comp, and he had little to no influence tonight. So same as Goulden. So it's great to have those guys in your team who are just so committed to doing what the team wants them to do. They're not fussed about getting all the other accolades.
Yeah, but Chad Warner, you spent a bit of time on him though.
Yeah, I was on Chad for a bit. I thought still got his hands on it a little bit, and he's obviously one who can get that bounce going for them through the middle. And yeah, I was just chasing arse a few times there, but that's all right.
You did a pretty good job, don't worry about that. Tell us about, you must be wrapped, this half back line, just week in, week out, tend to stand up. Jack Henry intercepts off half-back. I think he had 10 intercepts.
Did he? Yeah. I mean, Jack, Stewie, Sully, Lawson, Sam, you throw a blanket over all of them. They're just so talented, and I think the best thing is they've started to work together really well. Sully being a bit of a new head down there, they really started to gel in the last couple of weeks, so it's been enjoyable.
And you must be wrapped to have a big forward. You know, you've got Jeremy Cameron, but Shannon Neal, big scratcher. It looks like he's jumping and grabbing some beautiful marks.
Yeah, he's been amazing. His marks, obviously, but I just love his finishing. He's such a great set shot for goal, and scoreboard pressure's huge. So, for him to finish his work tonight, a couple of really tough angle ones that probably kept us in the game. So, we're also very lucky to have him.
No worries. And what are you doing watching open mics with me on it? What's going on there?
Oh, I've just been churning through all the old episodes, but I really enjoyed your episode. And for anyone out there, get on the open mics on YouTube.
Good on you, mate. Well, congratulations on a very good performance, and all the best for what will be a great final series. Well done. And we'll get Tommy Stewart in there. Maybe hand the mic over to the old fella there. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Look real solid after that. Probably a shaky first 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're well aware that, you come up here into a hostile environment and they're as good a first quarter team as there is in the comp. So we were anticipating it was going to be pretty hot, but the way that we sort of arrested momentum and then sort of, gave ourselves a chance, kicking a few goals. Big Shannon Neal stood up early, which I thought was amazing, and great win.
Tell us about his development. I mean, obviously he's been on the list for a few years. We're just starting to see the best of him now out on the ground.
It's amazing, mate. He came in as raw as you'll see. He's a big, skinny, lumbering kid that's sort of filled out, and he's an amazing athlete. So, but it's no accident that he's turned into the player that he has. The amount of hours that he put in early days with Harry Taylor and all the extracurricular stuff that he's doing, 6 o'clock at night. It doesn't shock any of us to see him playing the way he is.
Yeah, and you blokes been in some pretty good form. Where's your game at, do you feel?
We're trending in a good direction, I think. There's still some things that we think we can get better at, which I think is a really good thing, but we've only got one more chance to get our game in good order next week. So it's exciting. We've given ourselves another shot, and we're looking forward to it.
How do you think Scotty will review this one?
I think he'll be pretty happy, I think we... it was built up during the week, potential banana peel game coming up here, but we've heard sort of around the competition that teams are building up as a final, and we did the same thing. Our preparation was really sharp. We had a really good week. Having the extra couple of days helped, and we're really happy.
Well done, Tom. You're looking sharp yourself, and all the best in the finals.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Well done.
As Tommy Atkins said, lads, it could have been a real danger game for Geelong. They have long memories. Of course, they were responsible for a bone-crushing grand final defeat 3 years ago over the Swans. They could have easily dismantled Geelong today.
Yeah, no question about that. I don't mean to easily dismantle them, but there's certainly the motivation for a lot of the players out there that were there that day where Geelong, the game was over by 20-minute mark into the first quarter, if you like. They were just too big and strong, and smashed the Swans in every element of it, and pretty much that's what they did after quarter time, Jono. It was a great performance by Geelong, who finished second on the ladder at the end of the round.
Nice to hear you get a bone crusher mentioned in as well, Matty, because they're our Waverley Stars when they were playing at Waverley way back when. There's the ladder as it stands right now. That's the difference in percentage between the top two. So the Cats now looking like, given they've got Richmond next week and Adelaide have North Melbourne next week, that looks like the likely top two heading into the finals.
So we get that prelim final again of last year, Jono, if that's the way it unfolds. Brisbane and Geelong, cutthroat game that one.
The final series is going to be fantastic. It's still obviously wide open next week. It's going to be a fantastic final round, especially the Sunday, to determine some ladder positions. But ultimately what this team on screen here is doing is setting themselves up for a serious tilt at it. Stars across the line, led by Danger, I thought, again today. Forward of centre. He's not going and having his 25 to 30s these days, but his impact on the game is enormous, and led by also Tyson Stengel down there on screen. He was quite sharp today. His third quarter, he set up a couple of ripping goals, strong in the contest, and stood up and kicked a ripper around the corner. Super boot, Shannon Neal. He was launching them from outside 50. So right across the board, you can go positive. Yeah. It's very difficult to find, a negative for the way this team's playing at the moment. They're doing exactly what they need to against teams that they're expected to beat, but they're setting themselves up nicely, but they're healthy leading in to the final series.
Yeah, where's their floor? And they've got Mitch Duncan and maybe Cam Guthrie to consider in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you just need that bit of luck, don't you? When they get really close, you've just got to be able to get across the line. It's going to be some finals that are decided in the last few minutes.
Yeah, they will be.
You know, it's a bounce here and a bounce there. You've just got to be able to hope the footy gods are with you and you bring every bit of energy you got. But it couldn't have been more emphatic and it couldn't have been more impressive the way they reeled back in the fast-starting Swans. Despite the fact that they anticipated it, John, they still got to wait an early crack. But have a look at the size of that big young unit.
But it's the future for them is I mean, obviously in the short term, but you've got a player like O'Sullivan who's played 21 games. Neil's played 41.
Yeah. Jack Bowes gets to run the laps.
Hey!